how much of this stuff you leave in and how much you leave out. Because
I guess you have to listen.
Because I don't listen to the show.
That's fair.
How nice of you.
What? I don't need to listen to it. I'm sitting here. I'm doing it.
You lived it. Yeah.
I'm living through it. Despite you're barely living through it, Tommy.
Soon I'm not going to be living through it.
Well, if you keep forcing the salads down, you'll live through
it. Those salads are going to kill me.
Just go back to burgers. It's fine.
Yeah.
Sooner you're gone, the better.
Make sure the paperwork's up to date. You have
inherit all this.
Does that mean I have to do this show?
You have to give a shit.
Yeah, you have to continue.
You have to give more of a shit.
That's in our contract that you didn't sign.
We don't have one. Oh, I didn't sign it. Okay, good. I'm glad.
That's about right.
All right, well, welcome everyone back to the Quiet Riot Show.
Hey,
I hope you leave some of this stuff in. When we do this.
Usually, like either do as a intro or outro.
Just like the
bonus track
bullshit.
or whatever. Yeah,
it's always,
some of the banter. Yeah,
I think it's always ridiculous. I'm not entirely sure. I guess
I leave enough in so it's appropriate. Yeah.
Well, what's appropriate?
Yeah, between you two, I don't know what's appropriate.
Welcome back. We're just over our 1 year anniversary of the show, so it doesn't fucking matter anymore. So now it's on to second year.
Yeah.
And year 2.
We're diving right in.
Yeah. So if you're new here, welcome. If you're still here, I'm shocked.
And thank you.
And also thank you. Yeah, sorry, I forgot that part. It's weird when we do shows with like people who have been involved with as the other guy that I was.
Oh,
I just like, there's a part of my brain that has to take a few minutes to like transition into that because I just want to be a piece of shit. But I remember I got to be a different kind of piece of shit on this show.
Well, and our today's guest, like he also knows you as that piece of shit.
That other piece of shit, yeah. So you're actually having a show with a different piece of shit, but same person.
And just for the audience, like the piece of shit was an act, and that was it was like that's like your what do you call it, like the persona, right? Like
it was more of a persona. It was like it was an elevated, absurd version of my sense of humor. It was really actually just my sense of humor, but I was allowed to just be that.
That's right. Well, and give it a boost too.
So it was pretty
anonymity.
Under the guise of a name that nobody recognized. Yeah. So like that was probably helpful on many occasions.
That's right. Yeah, that was hilarious.
Don't go back
under the radar a few times, maybe.
Well, you never heard the stuff that got edited out.
Oh no, I know. I just remember all the stuff that got in. So.
Yeah, the stuff that stayed in it's bad, but
I still remember the live recording of Wheeler and Candace at what was it, Four Crowns?
Oh, when we did the live episode.
Yeah,
of Four Crowns,
I never listened to the actual episode afterwards, so I have no idea what got edited.
I don't know either. I never listened to. Same with this show. I never listened.
I was there, so I just remember the freaking the Slovak piss that you brought. That
the moonshine.
God.
Yeah. You want some?
Maybe the second half. Let's get into it first. But
so Leo, thanks for joining us today.
That's our guest.
He's one of the original. We used to call each other scumbags.
You're welcome,
listeners, and that's thanks to you. Yeah, you named us, and we're like, we're either gonna fold and get butthurt, or we're just gonna own up to it.
Yeah, you gotta lean in.
Exactly.
We just embraced it.
And that just became almost like a trademark word for us. Yeah, so that was hilarious. But welcome here today.
Thank you guys.
I know we've chatted months and months ago, but I'm happy that we finally were able to bring you in here and you sharing your story, which is really
I don't really even know much at all.
Yeah, like when you told me, when you reached out and like, hey, I have this, I was like, holy shit, this is perfect for our show. I mean, as in
thanks,
like,
thanks for going through it.
Yeah, like exactly.
So we could record an episode.
Like, really, thank you for going through shitty
I put
time.
my mental health on the line just so you guys can have a good show.
That's right.
See, I was
You've
thinking
always
about
been
this.
one of the nice ones.
That's why I like you.
That's the Mennonite side. That's
It's
why.
the always pleasing everybody's side.
Yeah.
Making sure everybody's okay except for myself, right?
Yeah, right. Well, you put yourself. No, we're self-sacrifice. You're like Jesus in the show right
now. Actually, it's Jesus.
Jesus. So yeah, you're here.
Yeah.
We've covered a lot of different topics on the show over the past year, and like none like yours.
No, so it seems like it's the first of its kind for you guys.
We'll ease into it a little bit here, but
well, and then that's.
I appreciate that you're here. I really, honestly do, and I think that this is for sure something that I've never had a conversation with someone about.
It's still a difficult topic,
or really seen happen. I have one friend that maybe, but I don't even actually know your story a lot, so I'll figure that out after the fact. But thank you for being here. Thank you for being willing to share. And like, I know this. Sometimes sitting in the other seat on this show is probably uncomfortable and a little bit weird, and we know each other a little bit, and so it's
makes it a little bit easier.
Maybe a little bit easier, but it's never easy. I hate it when we talk about me on the show. So
I fucking hate it when you talk about
yourself. Hence why we
too.
have guests and shit like that, because I fucking don't want to talk about myself.
But yeah, no, that, and again, like joking aside, like we love hearing somebody going through some stuff and they're still here, they're dealing with it because it helps us understand what you're going through, helps the listeners understand what you're going through, and maybe it will help somebody else to kind of with maybe they're going through with the same shit and then help them through those tough times, right? So
and it's something
from that standpoint, I love that you have a story to tell. So
I definitely want to get the story out there because I think for me it's going to help me kind of face the story, because I've in all honesty I've kind of been hiding from it a little bit because it's been so overwhelming, and I have kind of isolated myself and become a bit of a hermit the last year, even more than I was before. But yeah, I felt that it was time to kind of reach out and just get the story out there, and just to be able to get, because I can't do this on my own anymore. Yeah, that's the stage where I'm at, and I need to.
Nor do you have to.
And I'm doing everything except for going to therapy. So
we're going to tell you should, but it sounds like you already know that.
I have a sister who's a therapist. Yeah, she's very much pushing me in that, gently nudging me. She knows how to nudge me without pushing me too much.
Hey, go to therapy.
I think part of her would wish that. I think. Sorry, Shelley. She would probably wish that.
So before we talk, we actually tell our listeners what the story is. Let's do the check-in, and then we go from there.
Okay. Well, let's start with you, Tommy, seeing as you started this mess.
Yes, doing okay.
That's not how the check-in system works.
I'm about a 5.
Ooh.
Yeah,
that's not great.
No, I'm crashing. From the last 2 episodes ago, it was that was a 9 or whatever, and then 7-ish, and then
run a downward spiral.
Yeah, it's a little bit.
What's that about?
Well, I had a doctor's appointment and for blood work, and that didn't come back the way I wanted it, so I need to do some self-repairing, I guess. Let's call it that.
Yeah, that's fair.
Without going into detail. So it's going to be how we've talked about it, like sometimes it's not good to worry about like what's going to happen like down the road, and
sure.
Because it doesn't really help. Like, let's just live in the moment and try to focus on what's now. But oh man, like I'm just like, I need to get on this certain diet where like I have to eat healthy and get my shit together. And I'm just like, okay, now it's actually pretty good timing because my wife is off work for the summer. So, that pressure of coming home and, cleaning or cooking or whatever, it's not there. But I'm like, man, when she goes back to work and I go back to my crazy busy life, I don't know how I'm going to handle it.
But maybe like...
So hopefully these 2 months...
Maybe have a couple of months to build some good habits.
Yeah,
or some
a routine
new habits.
And exactly. So hopefully it goes that way. But I'm just like, it's in the back. It's very fresh, like couple days.
Okay.
So I'm just like, I barely slept last night, and
well, you don't sleep much anyway.
no, and I slept even less than that. So.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. So it's just okay. I'm a little tired and not 100% there, but it'll get better though.
The nice, and maybe not the nice thing, I don't know, but like you're at a point where like, and you just told me a tiny bit before we started the show, but like you have an opportunity to change it.
Yeah.
Change the circumstance.
And thanks for making fun of me for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we're here for.
Yeah, and I love that. I even told my coworkers.
Stupid? Why wouldn't I?
They're just like, oh, sorry. I'm like, no, man, dude. Like, I do the same thing to my coworker. Where like make fun of him eating a salad. I'm like, you guys better make fun of me eating salads too.
I will make fun of you
100%
forever.
Yeah.
But we support you.
That's right. Yeah, exactly.
We're real friends.
We talk. Like, we've talked about it. It's real. That's what a real friendship is.
What did your wife say when she came down here and I said something mean about you? And she's like, I know. That's how you guys say I love you.
You told him to fuck off. That's what.
I told him to fuck off. Or something. I don't know.
It's like, I know that's what I love you means. Yeah. So.
Okay, that means that my coworkers must really love me because that's what they tell me every day.
But when I tell that to my boss, I actually mean it.
It doesn't. Yeah.
Anyways, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
My boss is actually pretty cool. Timmy.
What am I today? Today I'm tired 7.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I'm a tired 7.
That's not that bad.
No, I actually feel pretty good.
Just tired because of
just not sleeping great.
Yep.
Oh man, this new fucking thing is happening with me, and I don't like it.
Please elaborate.
And I'm doing my best to break it because there's no way I'm living like this. But I'm in this like cycle now, and I feel like it's because I'm just getting old, but I'm not willing to accept it. That my body just like wants to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
But then, like, at 10:30 at night, I'm fucking tired.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. I don't... Fuck that.
You like staying up late.
I would prefer to not fall asleep at 10:30. My daughter's been making fun of me, saying, do you need help getting up the stairs? We tried to watch a movie as a family the other night. It was like 10:30. I fell asleep in 5 minutes. I was like, well, this is
we started watching
ridiculous.
a movie at 8 o'clock. I'm out within half an hour.
Oh,
for sure.
Like,
sure.
I'm not living like this.
I'll stay up late drinking and having a good time, concerts, no problem.
Yeah.
You put me in the lazy boy in front
Forget
of a TV.
it.
Oh, I'm out. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm not living like I hate that. It fucking pisses me off. So
this has been what I think kids means.
This has been going on for a week and a half maybe, where I've been fighting it. So last night I stayed up later, which was nice. But like I'm really trying because I'm like, I don't want to. I'm not doing this. I'm not fucking this 5 a.m. Fuck you, 5 a.m.
You still got up at 5, didn't you?
Yeah, but I'm staying up later.
Yeah.
So like, I'm fighting it. I'm fighting it. But I feel
eventually
okay.
you'll get used to it, and then
I don't
you'll be
want to
like
get
me.
used to it. No, I don't want to be like you, eating salads and whatever else you do.
Drinking water.
Yeah, drinking water.
I mean, there's rum in my water.
Yeah, sure.
Which I hope my doctor doesn't see this.
So,
hey, at least if your doctor's listening, they know that you ate a salad.
That's right.
Right? Look at that.
Yeah.
He didn't eat a salad. It was a steak salad minus the lettuce.
With 3 pounds of bacon on it.
Cooked with lard.
So I do feel good. I've actually been very productive lately. I feel good about like work is good and all that feels good. Family feels good. My daughter's home because it's summer and like we've had some fun and she's it's good. Things are overall pretty good.
Awesome.
How about you, Leo?
So you guys do the 1 to 10 rating, right?
Yeah.
It's actually funny when my sister and I watched one of your episodes recently, just to kind of get a feel for your flow and everything.
Yeah.
And you guys
you
talked
you
about
don't
that.
listen to every episode?
Oh no, I wanted her.
Oh my God, we're done.
I've probably listened to more episodes than Tim has, though.
Yeah, you know what? I guarantee you have.
No, I'm just kidding.
But when you guys are doing the check-in on that one too, that's what she does with her clients actually too.
Yeah,
So
okay.
that's actually sweet. She's like, oh, that's great. That's a good idea.
Awesome,
What is it? 1 is
here.
the worst, and 10 is like great on cloud 9 kind of thing.
Yeah.
Today, I would say about a 4 or 5.
Okay.
Average.
Okay.
That's about where I've been coasting for the last little while.
Okay.
Over Christmas, it was much lower, but now that summer's coming, I've actually noticed a big difference though too with more daylight. Honestly, that's a huge
you're like that too.
But like the clouds been pissing me off lately. Like it's just way too much.
Oh no, I don't mind the rain actually. I just like the sun being out longer. Yeah. That's a big one for me. Like it's the whole seasonal effectiveness, whatever. Right? Yeah. So that's I would say about 4 or 5. That's okay. About where I've been for the last little while. Okay. So I'm hoping to bring it up a little bit.
Yeah, that's good. Nice. I mean, just having the hope to want to bring it up, that's probably already a good thing.
Yeah. So getting myself out is helpful that way too. Just
you're not telling yourself this is the best it gets.
No, right? no. I know that there's better out there.
Yeah.
I'm in the shit right now, so I have to waddle my way out. And
it takes time, but just one little bit at a time.
Yeah.
And like for me, it like I don't swing numbers very quickly, but like if I'm a 4, I can find my way to a 4.5, and then like you can climb slowly, and like even moments, it's like, oh, that moment itself, that hour, that day, that week was like more like a 5 or a 6, and like then it might go back down, but like find those little moments, and like that's what carries you through to the next one.
Yeah, I try to find like little good things about every day a little bit. Right? It's like something really good happened at work, like that makes you feel good. Okay, that bumps you up, and that helps you for the ego for the next day, right?
Yeah, that's good.
But if you wake up in a shitty mood, that's
ruins
the whole day.
It's tough to recover from a shitty wake up.
Well, and like so lately, I've been trying to really focus on I really like, and this comes more from you and from your wife, manifesting something, right? Like you want to manifest the good, the happiness, right? The positivity and stuff, and I've been trying to like just always look at like the good in the shit that's happening to me, right? So even like with me going through this health thing, like at least, okay, now it's scary and I could be sad about it, or I can focus like, okay, I do want to spend time with my kids in the next, 20, 30, 40 years or whatever number, whatever my number comes up, right? But so this is the time to do something about it. And hopefully it gets better, right? I'm hoping for the better thing. So I do tend to jump up and down. I get affected by any little shit, very easily. And I'm one of those like, what do you call them? Like when you act like quickly on
snowflake.
That too.
Joking.
You're very reactive, I guess, right?
Yes, yeah. So like snowflake. if something good happening, I'm like excited.
I started making fun of him earlier. I can't stop.
That's right.
We're locked in.
It's ongoing. But again, if something bad happens, I used to take it like really tragically, like right away go to the worst, and so I'm trying to stop that part. Right? Like I'm okay if I get excited about something and I jump to a 10 right away. I'm okay with that. Yeah. I just don't want to jump to a 1.
It's the quick down. The quick downward thing.
Yeah. When you get down to that 1, it's hard to come back up.
That's right. Yeah. So.
Okay, Leo. So we obviously brought you here to have a chat.
Yeah.
I hope you're as prepared as you can be for that, which I would guess sitting in the hot seat across from us is not always the most exciting feeling when we're about to talk, but thank you for being here. I want to say that right off the hop, and we're so grateful for people that are willing to come in and share their stories, and I know it's probably not easy, and we just chatted a tiny bit before we started, but like I know your story's tough, and like it's also one that I think people need to hear, and like that doesn't get talked about a lot. And so where do you want to give us a little back story, so, sort of what you want to talk about?
Yeah, so just as a preemptive little story, there's in 2019 I dated this girl in Winkler. She had 3 kids. She becomes an integral part of the story. So that's why I'm only giving you she has nothing actually to do with the story, but the fact that I dated her runs into it. So we dated for about 10 months. It was really well. It was actually one of the best relationships I've ever had. It's just it ended because of various reasons, but at that point, COVID was just about hit at that point. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to take a break. I'm just going to take a series of bad relationships before all this, and I was like, I just need to take a break and just kind of settle down and figure out where things are going. So that ended in 2019 December, and I had been single since June of last year. So never not dated, nothing. And then all of a sudden, I met this woman, went on a date, and it just, from day one, it was a gong show.
How'd you meet her?
Online dating, actually.
Okay.
Facebook dating.
Okay.
So if anybody, I found out later on she's still doing that too. So it's online dating is where she gets her, where I met her. We ended up going out for coffee, and then dinner. We just went down to the Forks for some drinks. And I didn't have to pick up my son until later that evening, so we ended up going to Boston Pizza for dinner that night, and that's where we chatted. And she was very good at drawing out information for me.
Okay.
So she got all these details from my past relationship from this woman in Winkler. She says that my ex now, she said that she had actually lived in Winkler, so she knew who my ex apparently was.
Okay.
So it spiraled from there, though. She just and she slowly started.
But she didn't.
But I don't think she really actually knew her.
Okay.
So just but she used that as a gateway to start bothering me.
Trust?
Yeah. She really was like, okay, I know. Like she at first she told me and one of her best friends were dating this woman at the same time. Not the case ever, but that's the story she kept making up for me, right? So, she just kept. She actually, I would get text messages. All of a sudden that night, I got a text message from this ex from Winkler. All of a sudden, saying, "Oh, I'm still not over you, and I still want to be with you. And why are you dating this girl now? And I heard you're with her." And then it was never true, right? So she just started lies. She started. She sent me a random text from a phone number I didn't know.
Okay.
And that's where it all went. And I didn't. It kind of went really slippy from there. She did
this
very
was like
slowly.
after the first.
This was the first date. She's already
texting
me from this fake number from my other ex, saying, I don't want you to date this new ex. I want you to be with me again still.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. She's making up stories.
Okay.
From day one, right?
So, like in that initial moment, you'd had one date.
Our first date that we spent together, and I was like, "Well, this is crazy."
Was the first date
it was great.
Good, or was it like?
Yeah, we got along great. We talked the whole time. It was like we met up early afternoon for coffee at Starbucks, and it was a good chat the whole time.
Okay.
Dinner, the drinks that we went for at the Forks, again, just very good at drawing out information for me. She asked the right questions, and she was very good at keeping me talking.
So then immediately it like started getting weird, like the same
because
the next day.
That night, she's texting me that she's I found out later it's her texting from a different from her burner phone.
Yeah.
So she's pretending to.
She had two phones on her all the time. One was hers, one was a burner. I found out later on. But so she's texting me from a burner phone saying she's my ex from Winkler and don't date her. I want to get back together with you. Blah blah. It's a drama shit show from right from the beginning. She starts making up accusations about how I assaulted her children back then in 2019 when I was dating her.
Okay, let's rewind a little bit. So you had the first date.
Yeah, and it started right away.
Right away it got weird.
Yeah.
Now what at the time, like now you know a lot of stuff. Let's go back to that time. Like
I thought it was the craziest thing in the world. Like
even in that moment you were like, what the fuck is happening?
How is this happening to me?
Yeah.
Like I don't have a life like this. Like my life is so calm.
So so this girl pretending to be your ex. Saying that you assaulted
I assaulted her children.
Ex's children.
She had 3 kids from her previous marriage.
Jesus.
And she's now saying that it got worse. This is it's I'm just scraping the surface on that one.
Okay, so
that
how does date number 2 happen?
It just that's where it gets a little bit blurry for me because date number 2 was just they were fine. We just go out for coffee or for dinner and just hang out and like nothing abnormal, nothing unusual. But the conversations that she started with me, with her, she said her friend Ryan, so-called friend out from Winkler, was also dating the same woman I was dating back in 2019 at the same time. I was the other guy.
And at this point, are you like believing these stories? Okay.
Yeah, I'm believing it because, I mean, I'm a trusting person just in general.
Well, there was no red flags that probably went off, right?
No, absolutely no red flags. She was not once was she ever mean or vindictive or anything like that. She was always just very. She was always very attentive and paying attention to me, like. She was listening to my stories, and I felt heard, which was, sometimes a bit of a rarity. So he's like, "Oh, this."
As a man, it feels nice when you're heard. Yeah, for sure.
And so she was doing that. She was playing into all my she did it with everything of mine, she was able to draw information out of me that not a lot of other people could have, or at least she had a way of just getting every little bit of personal information out of me because she knew that she had built a little bit of trust with me.
Yeah.
So she just kept building on that trust, right? And
but
at the same time, she was also playing the villain at the same time, but I didn't know that. In the background, I didn't know. Everything was completely fine. And it just kept going now. It just, it was little things here and there. Well, it was now you're being investigated by the RCMP, and
like when did
that? So through all this, keep in mind, she now has told me that she's rich.
Okay.
She comes from money, from family, or from family money. She's wealthy. She doesn't need to work.
Yeah.
But she does. She wants to keep busy, kind of thing. But she's a millionaire, basically.
Okay.
Doesn't ever have to work. So she's enticing me with all this stuff, right? She's like, oh, if you, throwing everything at me. Like, she's paying for all the dinners and everything. I never paid for a thing with her. She paid for everything, booze, everything. She always covered it. I have no idea where she got her money from, because it turns out the job that she told me she had, wasn't actually her job.
Okay.
The company that she claimed to work for, they called and they said, no, she never worked for us. So.
Okay.
Yeah, it's and then but getting ahead of myself a little bit. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna, and I might happen. I might jump back and forth a little bit. There's a lot of little details that I might jump over because there's a lot that happens. So, but yeah, she basically just built. She kept building on the trust with me.
Yeah.
And just kept making the story crazier and crazier. And because she said she was rich, she said, well, all the assault charges or whatever the case you're facing from Winkler. She goes, well, I'll cover the lawyer fees for that. And
so now how did was there actually assault charges? Like, did the RCMP actually show up?
No.
Or how were you hearing this and what was happening?
She was, because she said she would hire the lawyer for me to...
okay, but how did it show up in the first place?
What do you mean?
Like, how did...
Well, she told you this.
She told me that? Everything. She told me this.
Oh,
she told me this.
Okay.
Yeah, no, she was telling me this, and then my ex was then at that point telling me, well, I'll just pay for your lawyers and I'll deal with, don't worry about a thing, I'll take care of everything for you. She did what my sister calls trauma bonding.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's hey, you're gonna be in shit. Don't worry, I got you covered. So you're feeling secure now.
Yeah, that's exactly what she did, right? She made me feel secure. Sorry, my sister sent me a few things last week that talked about the definitions of trauma bonding and what she was doing to me.
Yeah.
And it was
man, I like this guy. 100% prepared.
Right? He's very prepared.
100%. I was all the things that she sent me were very much accurate to the 7 stages of trauma bonding is what she sent me. So there's always excessively flatters and praises partner to win them over. She was love bombing me.
Yeah,
everything was. I was great. I was the best ever. I'm a great father. I'm a great person. You don't deserve any of this stuff. You don't deserve the people making accusations against you, but kids that you never even touched and that kind of stuff.
That she made up in the first place.
That she made up. Yeah.
Ooh, that is...
trust and dependency. So does everything to gain the partner's trust and dependence. So that's what she did, right? She created these. At the end of the day, she created 15 fake personas.
15?
15. 1 5.
Jeez.
I have them all on my phone still.
The thing is, if you're
different phone numbers and
yeah, she was one of those Scrambler apps or whatever, the phone number Scrambler apps.
Okay.
Yeah. So the word rape gets thrown around or sexually assaulted around a man, you're right away feeling fucked, even if you didn't do anything, but somebody makes it up, right?
Yeah, I didn't do anything, but she knew that her youngest daughter at the time out there, the girl Winkler, her youngest daughter was about 2-3 years old. Yeah. So she's very vulnerable.
Yeah.
And I got along so well with her. We went to, she clung on to me like crazy.
Yeah.
She was very attached to me. And so that was one of the reasons why that relationship was hard to get over, is because that little girl but that's who my ex now claimed that I was assaulting.
Well, she just preys on that. Yeah.
Well, I did nothing. In my mind, I'm going, I never touched that girl that way.
Yeah.
I held her and I held her in my arms and that kind of stuff, but
it's a
fucking kid.
That's what
That's what you do.
Yeah.
But it and she was attached to me. She loved me. It was a really nice bond I had with her.
How long was that relationship with the
one from Winkler?
Yeah.
That lasted for about 10 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it ended just before Christmas of 2019.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then but she made me trust her completely on everything, right? So all these accusations that were being thrown out, that RCMP were investigating me and all this stuff. I had calls from RCMP as well, like the Winkler police and all that too. They were calling because there was just a gong show. Like my son's mom got involved a little bit with that stuff, so she was calling Winkler. She had heard about some of these stories, so she was calling the Winkler police, trying to find out about this stuff, and she did oh my god, it got worse. It's a thick story. It's just getting there.
So she had 15 personas.
15 different people. So she pretended to be. It started from my ex and Winkler to 2 different phone numbers for her. Apparently, she made up her boyfriend, a fake boyfriend out there. 2 different lawyers, her boss, her parents. There's a few other people that were in there.
Oh my god!
15 people that she made up, and that's how she did it to me, right?
How do you keep track of that?
I fucking no idea how she kept track of that.
That's what I wonder with some of these people. Like, how do you even keep track of it?
Well, the thing is, what she did to me is,
I guess if you don't work, you got time.
I don't know. She does work.
That's a full-time
I don't know
job.
what. I found out later on where she does actually work, and nowhere near what she fucking told me she does.
Shocking.
She's a stripper.
No, thankfully not. But I did go get checked afterwards because, like, I'm not risking anything.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's starting to unravel. Like, when did you know?
I didn't. Not until the very end. I didn't know something was wrong until the very end.
Oh fuck. Okay, so you're in it.
I'm fucking in it.
So you're believing everything that's coming out of her and all these text messages.
Yeah, and I realize. So part of the story for me is the tremendous amount of like guilt and shame that I feel because there's so many red flags that were coming up from everything. Right. I look back on the story now and I'm telling it to people. I'm going, fuck, that's a blatant red flag.
So what do you think caused you to ignore them or not see them?
She drained me.
Maybe a little bit of both.
She tired me out. She was love bombing me.
Was it ignoring and not seeing it, or was it
not seeing it? And I think if I did see it, I was choosing to look the other way because I figured, maybe that's a small price to pay for a comfortable life. Because she was offering me a comfortable life.
Yeah, and it was love bombing and all that stuff. It's super like psychopathic. It's sociopathic. It's narcissistic. It's all those things, lovely fucking things. And I had I wouldn't say a relationship, a friendship with somebody who was very similar for a period of time, and like he was narcissistic, psychopathic, all those like insane. So I get the love when you say love bomb, like I actually really understand what that means. And it's just like when you come out of that a little bit, it's like, oh, that is so sick. Like you are so sick and so evil of a person to do that. Like to be able to do that. Like, man, that's
not only to me, but she.
Well, and I'm assuming someone like this, and I'm trying to speak a little more in generalities for the sake of you, and just some of the things we talked about before the show. But, like I'm assuming those people do that with everyone in their lives.
Yeah,
everywhere.
They must.
Like, you can't just
100%.
pick a target and do it to just them. If you're capable of doing that, you're doing that to
he was not the first person.
Oh no. No.
Okay,
I'm not the first, and I wasn't the last. Yeah. And there's
let's get a timeline here. Sorry.
Honestly,
this is fucked.
I'll tell you right off the hop.
I'm sorry, fucked is a bad word to use for this, but like
this is fucked.
What is the timeline we're on?
8 weeks.
Oh, really?
This is also part of what I'm dealing with, right? Because it took her that little time to fuck me up that bad.
She's
I met her June 10th.
At what she does.
I met her June 10th last year.
Yeah.
And July 26th is when my sister pulled me out of my house to get me out of that situation. Yeah.
Oh, 8 weeks?
Yeah. 7-8 weeks. Yeah. It didn't take long. She started very subtly, right? She started slow.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden ramped it up. And then once, these assault charges from the RCMP from Winkler, obviously those aren't real. Someone called CFS, an anonymous phone call, and that's what tipped off the RCMP investigation. Sorry, that was the detail that tipped off the RCMP investigation. They ended up coming to my house to come visit me and have a visit with my place, and wanted to make sure that I had a safe home for my son and everything.
Yeah.
Providing the claim against me at CFS was that I wasn't providing enough food for my son, wasn't providing clothing.
Where's your son from? Which relationship before Winkler?
From a long time ago.
Okay.
Yeah, he's 13. So that was
okay. So this is long before
this ex that I'm talking about now. She's still in my life, obviously, but that was from a long time ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, they went to visit my son at his school. They pulled him out of class and they started asking him about how his life was with my house and everything. And then later on,
do you have full custody of your son? Or
no, my son's mom has the custody. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, so they went to his school though, and they pulled him out. I had a conversation, which my kid's on the autism spectrum, so that already to him was
a lot.
Yeah, and then which caused a huge fight between my son's mom and I as well, because she's protecting him and I get it. Like she's looking after his well-being and she should. That's exactly what she needs to be doing.
A mom. That's what moms do.
Yeah, mama bear.
Yeah. It turns out like it caused a fight with her and I, obviously, and then CFS was called again, and they went to my son's house that night, like 10 o'clock at night that same day, and interviewed him again. Made his mom and her husband step outside. And they had a conversation with Gavin again because, they said, well, we had a call that you were apparently, you were punished for having told your parents what happened that you got pulled out by CFS.
Now, is this like all lies?
Yeah.
Or
yeah, it's all. I mean, the fact that CFS actually did go to his school, and they actually did get involved. They actually did legitimately come to my house.
Yeah.
There had been an accusation made about me making an assault to somebody in Winkler. And they had to go investigate that as well. Now, see, that was the other thing, because she used different
waste of resources.
Oh, that's
too.
Right.
100%. Because I'm in Lorette, so I had the Steinbach CFS come visit me.
Okay.
My son's mom lives in East St. Paul, so she had Selkirk CFS.
Yeah.
And then Winkler CFS had to get involved because there's claims made out there. So she's spreading the shit around, right? So it's not, she's trying to cover her tracks as best she can when she does this.
Yeah.
But, and again, the CFS stuff, they can't say for sure that she did it. That she's the one that called it in.
Say,
no,
sure.
It's anonymous for a reason, right? And it has to be there.
Enough things point to the same things. Yeah, sure.
So yeah, it was, but that's part of it. Like she completely love bombed me. She trauma bonded me with claiming I was the other guy from that relationship. Like that my ex was cheating on this guy named Ryan with me and everything. So
all this chaos, all this insane chaos is happening like very quickly.
Oh yeah,
and I guess. Maybe I've asked this already, but at any point were you like, did you associate like everything in my life was fine till you showed up, and like now what the fuck is fucking happening?
Yeah, no, those were definitely thoughts that I had at that time too.
Yeah,
and I would question her too on some of her stories, and then that's when sometimes she would change the details a little bit, so it makes it more believable because I would question some of the stories, right?
Okay.
Like, question the validity of the stories sometimes, the detail.
So she was really good at twisting words and changing,
manipulating,
it up to believe, make you believe her.
Yep, she did everything in her power to make me believe every word she said.
Jesus,
to the point where she got me to propose to her.
Oh my God!
I'm married to her.
You are?
I'm legally married to her. Unfortunately.
Shit.
Oh fuck.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that happened in a short period of time.
Oh.
Man,
you were busy.
Oh, that's not a good.
Sorry, I'm not.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like, I'm not a person who has a heavy social life.
Yeah.
Like, I'm very keep to myself kind of thing.
Like, you must have been with her
all
every
the time.
day.
At a point, it got to be almost every day, and I couldn't leave my phone. From work, from 8 o'clock on, she'd be texting me all day throughout the day and calling me throughout the day to give me updates.
Did it damage your work?
Almost.
In your career?
And I had almost, the thing is I had just started a new job last year in February.
Okay.
And so it was a new company, new everything, and then this shit happened. Now I'm going, oh, fuck, what's my boss going to think about this?
Yeah.
Like, he just hired this guy to come to do sales for him, and he falls for these fucking tricks, right? Like, that, that was a big... luckily, my boss was good. He understood.
That's good.
He actually ended up giving me a week and a half off of work to kind of deal with some of the stuff.
Yeah.
Just so I could get through it. And because honestly, there was a time where I couldn't even think straight. My sister was doing almost everything for me.
Well,
basically.
You'd get so turned around.
Yeah. Yeah, I got fucking turned around. I was upside down. She was keeping me up until 3-4 o'clock every night, and then I had to get up at 6:30 for work the next day. Right?
Make people weak. Holy fuck!
That's what she did.
Yeah.
That's what she did. And then her parents had a cabin up at Grand Beach, and what's that town called?
Did they actually?
Hillside. Yeah. Oh, no, I went there. Yeah.
Did you meet her parents?
I met her parents.
And
we never talked about the shit that happened during the week. Right? She'd always say to me, well, let's just take the... She would cause all this chaos during the week. And then she would, by Thursday, Friday, she's like, well, on Friday after you're done work, I'll come pick you up, and then we'll head out to my parents' cabin for the weekend. We'll just chill out there. We'll have some, go on the boat, go to the beach, just chill and forget about the shit that's happening in town here, right?
And like when you went, that was what happened? Like it was like she gave you a break?
Yeah. She doesn't give me a break so much. She...
not a break from her, but like
from the drama, from the chaos that she was causing.
Like she actually took you out of it.
She was still creating it though.
Well, I would assume
that was part of it.
I would assume it never stopped.
Probably part of it.
This is also part of the.
Yeah.
But you met her parents.
I met her parents. Yeah.
Did they know she's
fucking psycho?
Fuck. Like it's your kid.
Bitch.
They know that she has problems. They know that, and I think
was there stuff before this they've been witness to, and maybe we'll do that after the break. But like,
there was stuff that they knew about. Basically, her mom once told me that their dad was Santa Claus 24/7 for the girls.
Okay.
Like he bought them anything and everything they wanted.
Okay.
So they got away with murder, basically, right? And she absolutely continued the story all the time. Okay. It was on the weekends, but she always made me feel like she was my savior, right? She was making me feel she was protecting me.
You believed she's a good person,
yeah,
and you also believed that there's all this shit happening in your life to you.
She also knew my naivety when it came to the legal system, right? I never dealt with any of the legal stuff like that before, so I had no idea what to actually expect or what to do.
It's like
nobody knows
unless you have to deal with it. You don't know that shit. Yeah.
And she's...
Or else you go to law school.
Well, and then found out later on she's clearly...
So much money.
Or if you're like my wife, if you watch Law and Order, then you know
you're good. You're good. Yeah, you're just a detective from now on out. Yeah. Everything that she did was to build up my trust, and then she would also create the chaos around me, but then protect me from that chaos.
And then she knew how to manipulate it.
Yeah.
No, that weekend, I remember she ended up, because all this stuff was happening and these assault charges were on me, she ended up making me stop my visitations with my son.
Now, there wasn't actually assault charges.
No.
Okay.
It never was.
Okay.
None of that ever is a thing.
So, like, there was never actually any charges.
No. It was never any. There's
you.
nothing. There's never any investigation whatsoever, because I have legitimately spoken to RCMP and Winnipeg Police now.
Okay.
And there's never been any sort of. I've never come up on the radar before.
But you believed it because CFS was involved, right?
CFS came to my house, so it felt real.
I mean, that's fucking believable. If CFS shows up at your door,
yeah. I mean, somebody's coming at, knocking at your door, asking you, does your son have, enough food in the house? Is there enough clothing for him? Is he looked after? Like, are you a decent father? Like, the shit that she knew that I was in a bit of a vulnerable state already.
Yeah,
and
I mean, even if you're
that.
not like that, CFS knocking on your door will make you feel like a shit.
So did
person,
you like during that first little bit? And I can't believe the timeline of this is so short. During the first 2 weeks, did you when CFS showed up? Did you start to question yourself? It must have beaten you down.
Absolutely.
That's the only way it works for her is if you actually are becoming beat down.
She's completely, and when she did, I was completely knocked down by all that stuff.
Yeah,
she knew it. She literally would get me into tears. She would,
and then build you back up.
Build me back up. She would tear me down by doing the shit behind the scenes, and then build me back up to build that trust. So I believed everything she did.
The level
she was isolating me from my family too.
Evil that some people are capable of.
Well, and
shocking.
And not to play up her side of the story, but these people are probably so fucked in their head.
Oh, they are.
They need to ruin your life in order to
make themselves feel good.
So they can feel good that they're taking care of you. Create a shitty scenario for you.
And that's the thing. I with the person I went through some of that with, I actually believe at times they think they're doing the right thing.
Yeah, they do.
They're actually believe.
Yeah, I should show you a
message.
They're
doing the right thing.
One of the last text messages I got from her was, "I know I have problems. Can we talk this through?"
That's a fucking understatement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, she's
problems is my car tire's flat.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry,
I need to eat a salad.
Sorry, I got mad.
That's a problem.
Yeah, sorry, I got mad over nothing that one time. That's a problem.
Well, what she also would do is, when she would see me get frustrated and angry about things, she would kind of see me boil over to a point, and I don't do that. I'm not a person that I have a long fuse for my temper.
I don't know you well, but I know your heritage, and I kind of know you, and like there's completely no fucking way that you're the loose cannon. Like
no. She completely, to the point where I would bubble over, and I would kind of not snap, but I would kind of just vent.
Yeah,
and
sure.
She would take that, and to me that was just venting to her.
Yeah.
To her, she would then take that, and
that was just fuel.
Oh, she would then use that, turn around and go, oh well, I know you're going through a lot of things, but I'm here to help you. You need to stop taking your frustrations out on me. I'm here on your side. I'm doing everything I can to help you. You need to stop yelling at me and stop taking your frustrations out on me.
Jesus Christ.
She's causing me all this pain, right? So,
yeah. Why don't we take a little break?
Sure.
You were coughing earlier, so it sounds like you need a smoke.
I'm ready for that. That's correct.
That sounds good.
And we'll be right back.
Hey, Tommy, among all the episodes we've recorded, there's one common theme, and that's getting therapy. We've talked about it lots.
Many, many times.
You had a really tough time making that first phone call. I had a tough time making that first phone call. I didn't even know if the person I was going to see was the right person, but you got to just try. Thank goodness we have a sponsor that makes it way easier now. BetterHelp has an online platform that allows you to fill out a questionnaire. They connect you with a therapist, and you get to communicate with them however you want. So whether that's text messaging, that's emails, that's through their app, that's video chats, you get all those options, and it makes it way less scary to be connected with someone. And if you're not into the person you talk to, they'll sign you another one right away. I've gotten assigned mine already, and I can't wait to use it. Like, by the time you hear this, I will have had my first session, and I'm super pumped to talk about it on the show.
Yeah, I'm very excited about it, and like it's very easy to sign up. It took us maybe 5 minutes to sign up, and you answer just simple questions, and next thing you know, you got a message that you will be paired up with a therapist, and within the same day we got the therapist already, the name and a message from them, and we were able to communicate with them. So it's extremely easy. So please go to BetterHelp.com. Yeah, that's the thing. BetterHelp.com /Quiet Riot Show, and you get to also enjoy 10% off for your first month if you sign up using this link. So again, right here, I'm going to be doing it from here. Yeah, it's BetterHelp.
Am I screwing it up?
.com /Quiet Riot Show. Yeah, sign up today, and you're not going to regret it, because I'm already enjoying it. Just the fact that we connected with a therapist.
Me too, man.
Thank you to BetterHelp for supporting this podcast.
My brain is racing, man.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
Yeah, for
Leo,
sure.
not you, but anyone else, like listeners, Tommy.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a lot to take in.
Yeah, it's a big story.
And
someday, can you write out the timeline?
We have that already.
Do you have that?
We'll get in. I'll get into that too.
When this is all done, because I know there's some things that currently we can't talk about because they're not finished or they're unsettled. But if you're willing, someday I would love to have you back when this is over, and like
do a timeline,
and just like do a fucking celebrate.
Yeah,
is what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a celebration when this is actually over. So I don't want to. One thing I try not to do with people when we bring people into the show to be vulnerable and share their stories is like, I don't want to harp too much on the bad thing that happened.
Yeah.
So a lot of people come in here, and we have a lot of people on because a bad thing happened.
Yeah.
Part of what we want to do on the show is be vulnerable with our bad things that happen. And so we want to make that part of it, but we don't want to make that necessarily even the full focus of what we're doing here, because the whole goal of this is that, yes, we can share our bad thing, which I think is a sign of strength in men. Being able to feel vulnerable and being able to feel comfortable to share your bad thing, but also like how you're still here.
Yeah.
So you're still sitting at this table. You went through essentially 8 weeks of hell.
Yeah.
I don't even know if hell would cover what you've been through.
Probably not.
So I almost think,
remember at the time he was probably, you were feeling like really secure that you have that person to lean on.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Even though you were dealing with shit.
fully abused at that
100%.
point. This wasn't abusive. Didn't see it. You were abused. Yeah. Like you were in the abuse.
I was in it and I think deep in it, and I couldn't see it.
I need to highlight that, like, and this can be opinion for me, whatever you want to call it, but like, we hear so many stories and we see so many movies and TV shows and things where like the shoe's on the other foot. Where this is happening to women. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it does happen to women, and it's tragic. And it's fucking tragic, and it's awful. I'm not taking away from that. No. But we're here to talk about men, and so how often do we hear about stories where men are being abused by women?
Not very often. And I
very
think
very rarely.
I think it happens more than what we hear, for sure.
I would almost guarantee it,
which
is why I'm so
I
grateful that
story.
you're here. Like, I think you need to tell your story, and like that's your story to share, and you've chosen to share it, and I'm so grateful. But like, I think it does happen. This does happen.
Yep. Yeah.
And
100%.
Like I said before, I know one other guy who had like an abuse story with a woman. We won't get into that, but like, it's not my story to tell. But we don't hear these stories, but they do happen.
Yeah,
and like,
they absolutely happen.
As a man, like, I would feel so much shame. I would feel embarrassed, and like, I'm not. 100%. No, this. How could I be so stupid? How could I? And I'm not trying to put words in your mouth. I'm just expressing how I would feel. And so,
I've said those exact words to myself. Like, how did I fall for her shit? So like, there were red flags left, right, and center, and I ignored every single one of them. So you end up
in her feedback loop. Let's just call it that.
That's really
for 8 weeks.
Well put. Yeah.
Now, somewhere in that, I'm assuming the last couple of those 8 weeks, a light bulb went off, or somebody who loves you or cares about you, like, you're here now, you're out of it. So maybe talk a little bit about, like, what was the turning point for you, the TSN turning point?
The QRS turning point.
The QRS turning point. Sorry, no, we can't steal it from them. Like, when did it get so bad, or was something so just you had to get out?
I didn't.
So it affected. No. So obviously your family was seeing this.
So in all of this, the only person to actually have met her in person was my mom and Richard, her husband, my stepdad. Right, so those are the only two. My sister Shelly and Mike, her husband.
And are you close with your mom and stepdad?
Yeah, we're fairly close. Like, cool. we live about a block apart.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's and our
so
entire
they know
families,
you, and you have a pattern of communication with them. And did that change?
Yeah, 100%. And that's where my family was starting to notice it.
Yeah.
My sister, especially, I'm very close with my younger sister Shelly. Obviously my older sister Connie as well, but she's in Paraguay. It's a little bit harder to for her to be physically here for me, but she was part of the discussion the whole time, right?
Okay.
Thank God for the internet and all this stuff, because 20 years ago we couldn't have that kind of conversation with my sister down there. Now thankfully it's like I had a 2-hour phone call with her yesterday on like it was nothing, right?
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that.
So like they were questioning everything, right? I was telling them everything. They had a hard time believing what was happening. Like they just didn't get it. Mm-hmm. They knew my partner from Winkler. They had met her, and they like, how? That doesn't make any sense. It's from the person that we knew.
Well, and she was probably a kind Mennonite lady.
She very much was. Yeah. My mom loved her because she was the one and only Mennonite I've ever dated.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I tried to stay away from my own kind.
You shouldn't. You belong with your own kind.
No. There's too many of my own kind around.
Okay, fine. You and I. My wife is half Mennonite, so
right.
Oh, that's half. That doesn't count.
No, it counts. She's actually probably more Mennonite than I am.
Yeah. I've talked to her. She's very, very Mennonite.
Yeah. It's the fucking best. But anyway,
you have tattoos. You're not.
She does too.
Yeah, but yours are like very visible.
Well, this is true. This is true.
You're just there's some stupid tattoos too.
There's some you've deviated from the good path.
I'm the black sheep of
so am I, though. That's all my family's in Paraguay.
So your family was starting to notice.
Yeah.
How did they approach you? What was that? What did that feel like? Because you're probably still lost in it at that point.
100% lost, yeah. And there was actually a point.
Did she work hard to turn you against your family?
She worked hard to turn me against Shelley. Because she knew that Shelley and I are fucking close.
Yeah.
And she knew something. Like Shelley knew something was up.
Okay.
Mike, her husband too, Mike.
You mentioned that she's a therapist.
Yeah.
So she could see some signs probably, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. She saw. She had a hard time believing what was going on and everything. So there was a lot of, and this is part of what I'm also having to come to terms with, is there was also a lot of, let's say, strong arguments between my family in the background that I didn't know about until after.
Yeah, okay.
Because of what was going on.
Yeah.
Because as much as I love my mom, she absolutely 100% believed everything I was in, right? And they didn't want to believe that, like, Shelley and Mike had a hard time believing that that this was all real.
Oh, okay. So
they had their doubts.
They had their own.
They had. I learned later on that they had been digging and digging and digging for a long time.
Yeah. Okay.
I had been stressing the shit out of them. My sister ended up like, what is she? She took one of her bushes out in the backyard last summer, and she like just stripped the damn thing down and burnt it because she was like, I was ripping this bush apart, stressing out about what was going on in my life. Right.
Yeah.
So, because. My ex was showering me with everything. She was promising me new trucks and big houses, and I didn't have to work if I ever wanted to, or if I wanted to just work and just to have a hobby.
Yeah.
She's building a comfortable life, right? Yeah. But so my parents and my family thought something was
Sounds lovely.
Yeah. I don't have to work.
Too good to be true, though.
Yeah, well, exactly. That's the problem.
That's unfortunately, that's it's
but
part of
when
what
you're in it, and it's and
well, you can't see a forest
and it's
from the
happening,
trees,
right? Because she, like you said, she was paying for dinners and everything.
Yeah.
So
she was backing it up in my mind.
Yeah, right.
She's and she got really good at that.
Yeah, she got very good at that.
How? Who knows? But
she's just very good at manipulating the conversation and steering the conversation to go the way she wants it to go. And I started seeing red flags too, because when we were out at her parents' cabin in Hillside there, we were visiting with friends and family out there, and she was starting to tell friends and family that we've been dating for a long time already.
Oh, so she's lying.
She's starting to lying right to my face.
You're hearing lies. Yeah, okay.
And I was like, that's not. But she's like, oh, my family won't understand that, because we got married so fast and kind of thing, right? But because that was another thing, I just wanted to kind of go back to that one a little bit.
Sure.
She because I don't even remember proposing to her. This is another thing that she says I did. That's
okay,
and that's right. But she got me completely blackout drunk.
But also everything she says is a lie. So
right.
What does that actually mean?
Right. So, but at that time, she's like, "Oh no, my parents have cameras at the cabin too. If you want to see it, and there's audio of it, everything. My parents heard you and everything." I'm like,
"Sure, I'd love to."
Okay. Well, see, and I should have said that, right?
But you're in it. You're not. She's got you to a point of weakness where you're not.
Oh, 100%.
You're not going to confront.
At that point, I'm very much trusting her.
And you're not going to confront her because you're not even.
I didn't want to be that dick who's like questioning everything that she says.
Well, then she'll make you feel awful.
Yeah, because when she had when she did lay into me about pretending that I was taking my anger out on her, she was very good at taking it out on me. Right? I should have questioned more. That's part of what I'm facing. Right?
But you're kind and you're passive, and so. Yeah, kind and passive.
And I trust easily.
You might have asked questions, but you probably would have left it at that.
I believed
didn't
everything.
want an argument. You didn't want to fight.
No, I didn't want to fight. I'm not I don't like fighting. I don't like arguing.
And so
especially
I believe.
Well, these people, they leech on people like Leo, right?
Also, she knew how to manipulate.
Yeah.
Like you were way out of your league because up against what she's capable. of
100%. Yeah,
and
I never even knew that people out there there were people out there like this.
You would never want to, or you can't live a life believing that that's what people are capable of. Because you know what, most people aren't capable of that, and most people will never ever do that. Yeah. Like most people would hear this story and go like, how? Like that's where I'm sitting at this end of the table, and I'm like, I'm confused.
Yeah.
Because it's so hard to grasp that someone's capable of doing that
such evil thing.
And then like the next thing,
exactly.
and the next thing, it's like, oh, you are just pure evil. And like I think only once in my life have I encountered someone who I would say is pure evil. And like until you have, you just don't know.
Just like another example for like her trying to isolate me, right? She was trying to isolate me from my sister.
She had to.
Yeah.
The sister was probably the hardest one for her.
That was the hard one. That was because that's what brought her down in the end.
Yeah,
is not having. She didn't think that my bond with Shelley was that close.
She just couldn't. Yeah,
she underestimated how close we are.
So okay, so that's where that was the the limit point to where she could manipulate was you and your sister Shelley's relationship.
Yeah, she would try to get between all the time and make fights, right?
So how did that come to be?
So part of why
Shelley must have stepped in at some point.
Oh, she did, yeah. So part of why I wanted to bring the proposal up was because also keep in mind, my sister and Mike, I performed their wedding ceremony.
Oh, cool.
Okay, so
nice.
I always joke.
Ordained.
I married my sister.
Like a good Mennonite.
Like a good Mennonite that I am. Sorry, Shelley. No, I love Mike. He's actually so I performed their ceremony for them, and so I'm obviously extremely fucking close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she knew.
Okay.
She knew how close I was.
Yeah.
And she knew when the wedding was. And she made sure to rush through that's why she started rushing her. Once it got to that proposal stage, then she started really pushing things a little bit, and that's where it fell apart on her, I think, because she pushed too hard at that point. Because she ended up planning the wedding for the day before my sister's anniversary, which she knew would fuck it up, right?
Yeah.
She knew it would cause problems.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, well, maybe we'll just keep this quiet and not do anything. But on that fucking burner phone that she had, she secretly texted people and saying, hey, congrats to them for their wedding nuptials and everything.
Yeah.
Like, she would use her burner phone to text my mom and that kind of stuff too, right? So she was purposely stirring the pot while she's trying to make it so that, let's keep this on the down low kind of thing, right? So
okay, there was a proposal. You actually got married?
Yes, so that was the weird part. She arranged
like
everything
as
well.
The documents thing.
Basically, we had to go to some place in Transcona where we ended up.
It's Transcona. It doesn't count.
Hopefully, I couldn't use that in court.
No, that probably won't work in court.
So for those listening outside of Manitoba or Winnipeg, Transcona is a very popular area.
Google it.
Just Google it,
People like to bash it. Yeah. It's actually not a bad area. But
okay, so you actually got married.
We actually got married, so we went to a house in Transcona where there's a lady who writes up the licenses for the government and everything. So we did that. We met with her. We interviewed. We did the whole legit. It was passport. She had her passport. I had mine. Everything.
What's the timeline after? Like
what week is this?
Day you guys met till you got married.
So the wedding was July 14th.
So like 6-7 weeks.
Yeah, it was about 6 weeks. Yeah,
okay.
And then I got pulled out of my apartment on the July 27th. I'm gonna say, So
okay.
So it was less than 2 weeks basically 2 weeks that her and I were actually married.
So take us through the last 2 weeks.
So that was hectic. It was,
one would assume,
because I wasn't sure how to approach it myself. So I didn't really share that information with anybody at work even either.
Yeah.
And she would constantly harass me about that because I was like, well, this sounds like I was questioning that decision myself.
Yeah.
Like, why the fuck did I marry?
Yeah.
Like,
what the fuck?
I've never married before. I've always, but she knew that. I always wanted to have that marriage. I always wanted to have the family, and she was offering that. She had a 10-year-old daughter, and I knew her daughter as well. Like, I hadn't met her. And she was promising me that family life, right? And she was saying all the right things to me.
The thing you wanted.
Yep. Yeah. She knew exactly what she wanted.
Surprised.
And she just I don't know. I guess she just wanted to. She set everything up for the wedding and everything. Like we just had. They literally came to our house to my apartment in Lorette.
Yeah.
They did a quick ceremony. The person who did the ceremony, she brought the witnesses. I didn't even know who they were.
I'm assuming your family wasn't there.
No.
Yeah.
No, they didn't know. It was. It came as a surprise, and it shocked my sister that I would do something at that close to her own wedding day, and
those having them there.
That's the key, right? Because I would always have wanted. Because I felt when we were going through all this, I'm like, this doesn't feel right. Shelley and Mike aren't here. Like, I need to have my sister here. Like, didn't feel the way I wanted it to feel. But again, not wanting to be the asshole, partner, questioning everything that she says, right? I go with the flow. Okay, maybe this is just what it is now. So she had me so deep in it, I just assumed this is what it is now.
Of course.
Right? I couldn't find my way out. I didn't know. Like, I knew it wasn't the right decision, but I was like, how the fuck do I get out of this now? I have no idea without causing a massive legal battle. I have no idea how to get myself out of this shit now, right? Yeah. So it was beyond frustrating for me. I was lost. I didn't know how the hell to do it. I ended up going to my sister's house about a week after I got married to her, and Shelly and Mike wanted me to come over and like discuss what was going on and everything. I think it was before. I can't see the timeline for me is a little bit fucked up.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
But we do have the timeline printed out at my sister's place. We'll do it one day.
Sure, yeah, that's fine.
But I just I just didn't know how to deal with any of this shit, right? So I was completely lost, and she didn't know. I didn't know how she was gonna what the next step was for us either. And it just pissed my sister off too. She just kept digging and digging and digging.
Rightfully
right?
so. I mean,
And that's what it was. So it was both my sisters, Connie and Shelly both, and Mike. All three of them were just digging and digging and digging to find information on her, like going on the King's Court bench on the website and everything. And they finally found her name, and that's when Shelly. So the one very important thing for me that I wanted to kind of discuss was like that night that I got pulled out.
Yeah.
So it was smooth. Like to me, everything was completely fine, completely normal up until that Wednesday evening. So after work, her and I went to Costco. We did a Costco run for the apartment, like you get food and shit like that. Then we went to Montana's for dinner. Like it was just a typical
normal
night out, right? I didn't realize at the time that my sister and Mike had actually been at my mom's house, and they were having a massive fight about all this too, because my mom wanted to believe everything that was true, just like I did. She wanted the best for me, just like any mom would want for their kid, right? So she wanted the best for me. So she's like, okay, well, this woman is giving my son everything he wants in his life, and so who am I to argue with that, right? So and it got pretty heated between Shelly and Mike and my family, which again I didn't know about until later. But that night, so it was around 10:30 that night. Keep in mind, Shelly and I talk and we text pretty much every day, but we don't actually call each other very often. So it's very rare. You know that you have that somebody like calling you, you're like, "Whoa, what the fuck? Why is somebody calling me?"
Yeah.
It was
I fucking hate when people phone me.
I call him all the time.
Yeah, I know you do.
You do to piss them off.
Yeah, that's true.
10:30 at night. Shelly sends me a text. She calls me. She goes, "Can you go outside? I need to talk to you alone." I'm like, "Oh shit! Well, first of all, you're calling me. That's weird at 10:30 at night on a Wednesday." She's like, "Can you go outside? Is she with you?" I said, "Yeah, she's right next to me. We were about to watch a movie." So she goes, "Can you go outside? And I need to talk to you." Okay. Step outside my balcony, and she flat out told me she's been lying to you. She's not who she is. We found out who she is. Everything about her is false. Nothing is like. Ooh. So keeping in mind too that at this point she convinced me to cut visits with my son.
Yeah. Okay.
So my son hadn't seen me in about 4 or 5. It was about 6 weeks at that point already.
And
so he didn't know that you got married and
nothing. No one knew.
Yeah.
Right. So nothing like him and his mom were completely oblivious to any of it.
Yeah.
So that night I was like, I instantly believed Shelly. There was never a doubt in my mind that she was that there
making
was
this up or
like she was like she's not that crazy jealous sister ever, right? She just wants the best for me as well.
Yeah.
So when she said to me that everything that she had said was a lie, like it was like just like what the fuck, and I looked into my living room and I was like, she's fucking sitting on my couch.
Yeah.
Like what the fuck do I do now? Like do I run away? What the fuck do I do? Like so I said to her, I'm like, well, what about my son? Like Tammy, what about my son's mom? Like does she know it? She goes, they haven't heard anything. Oh, sorry. The one detail that I forgot to mention is that she had also she was picking a fight between me and Tammy now, my son's mom.
Yeah, of course.
She got to the point where she's like, "Oh no, she was going after me for full custody, no visitations because of the charges from Winkler that were coming through."
Okay.
She didn't want me to have anything to do with my son.
Yeah.
She was going to go to the police and have like a protection order. She had a whole. There's a whole other side to that story. I don't really want to get into that.
No,
it got really messy with that side of it too.
Of course. Well, they were all messy. I would only assume.
He was all messy. So I hung up on my sister that day, like on the balcony.
Yeah.
I just hung up on her and I immediately called my son's mom, and I said, "What is going on? Like, at that point, I thought she was legally fighting me already. Right? Like she was just, again, she'd been pretending that she had lawyers hiring for that. So now she's like, well, your ex hired this lawyer to deal with a custody battle for you and with you two now. So we'll just hire this lawyer. Will help you battle with her lawyer now.
Which also
wasn't true.
Yeah.
There was a whole.
So your sister was your sister like on the way to your house at that point?
No. The Shelly's at home at this point already. She's at her house, and she lives in the city here, and
Okay.
I'm in Lorette. So, I called Tammy that night, and I was like, I just flat out asked her, I'm like, is any of this true? And she goes, what the fuck are you talking about? We haven't heard from you in 4 weeks or 5, whatever it was. And she goes, we have no idea what's going on. No one knows where you are. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
So that was probably the second red flag. That the first one was obviously her sister.
My sister calling saying it was all like everything was a lie.
This was kind of the second. Like you finally the first truth in a long time that you heard.
That was the first truth I'd heard in a long time, and then when I got told we don't know, like we have no idea, we haven't heard from you in months, or a week, we don't know where you are.
Yeah,
I was like, oh fuck, like this is messed up.
Yeah.
So I ended up having to go back. I walked back into my apartment, and I felt drunk. Like I couldn't walk straight. Yeah, I couldn't think straight.
That's a fucking knock in the head.
That's completely. Like in my mind, my life had just shattered to a million pieces, and I couldn't figure out how to pick this up. And
what do you do, right? Like
my life the rug just got pulled out from under me, and I had no idea.
So what did you do?
I had to, after a few minutes of trying to collect myself and make sure, like I had to throw up I had to go to the bathroom and like throw up because it was just so nauseating.
Yeah.
And I was standing in my kitchen, and I was looking at her, and she's like, "What the fuck is going on? What is happening? Like, what did your sister say to you?" And I looked at her, and I'm like, none of this legal stuff is true. I said, where's the lawyers and all this shit? I said, I just talked to Tammy. I said, and she has no idea what's going on with any of the legal stuff. She said she hasn't talked to any lawyers. I said, nothing is true. And she immediately flipped out. She's like, what the fuck? You just believe your sister over everyone anyways, blah, 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 blah. She grabbed her purse and her 2 phones, and she ran out the door. And I was fucking terrified at that point. Like,
well, no shit.
She was angry. I had never seen this level of anger, because she went from being just a normal person to just psycho in just a heartbeat.
Was psycho all along, but
I saw it.
Now it's
my eyes got
everything was
open.
working in her favor.
Now it's coming out.
Now it's coming out.
Oh,
so,
fuck.
My mom thankfully lives down the street.
Okay.
So I called her. I'm like, I need somebody here. Like, I was devastated. I didn't know what to do. And I was talking to Shelly. I called Shelly back, and she's like, do you want us to come over? I'm like, yes, just please come over.
Yeah.
And so they were there. Like this is at like 11:30 at night, and they sped to my apartment as quick as they could. Thankfully, Mom and Richard were already there. By the time she came back to try to get back into the apartment,
she
tried to come back. Yeah. So she tried to come back in, and she tried to force her way through. She said, because she threatened to call the police and the RCMP on me. She said it was.
She's already showing all her cards. You know what she's gonna do.
Oh yeah. And we just so by the time she came back, Shelly and Mike were already there, and my mom and Richard were there. She tried to push her way into my house, into my apartment. My mom ended up pushing her out a little bit, like touching her.
Yeah.
And then so she later on tried to say that my mom heard her.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
So it just got really she bombarded me, and then she would text me and call me from various numbers, her other burner numbers.
Sure.
She'd be like, all of a sudden she'd be like, oh, this is your lawyer, we're done, we're not dealing with this anymore, or whatever. For Dad, you and I need to talk.
Like, and at that point, were you already like, all of this is bullshit?
At this point, I was like, this is all bullshit now.
Yeah, okay.
And now I know this is bullshit.
So you had a wake-up call.
Yeah,
like now you were awake.
Now I'm awake. I'm like, what the fuck? This is now, none of this is real now. So I got it now. But I was devastated.
Oh,
like,
of course.
I couldn't think straight.
I didn't, my life was this person that was helping you she was your emotional support.
Yeah.
Going through all this fake bullshit, right?
And I believed every fucking word she said for the longest time.
So now, like, in a matter of hours,
my life is shattered.
You've now changed your whole. You figured out all of it was a lie.
All of it. Yeah.
How do you like? Fucking,
oh my god.
Well, and I'm sure you're still processing it to some extent every day, and like,
we just packed up my clothes and we left. I packed up a bag.
And was it your apartment?
Yeah, it was my apartment. It's always been mine. She tried to take it over, actually.
But also just get the fuck away.
Yeah, exactly.
Just get out.
Yeah. We called the RCMP because we had them come over and we were telling them everything. So there's one constable in my apartment talking to me, and then there was the female officer outside talking to her.
Okay.
And they came over. We had the whole got to have the whole fun conversation with the RCMP that night and everything. And they asked, like, they saw that I was the victim here, and they saw that, okay, this is not right. And
Yeah.
so what we ended up doing is, thankfully, she really had nothing at my place, just her clothes.
We packed her bag.
We threw all her clothes in a garbage bag and then gave it to the RCMP.
Yeah,
and
they dealt with it.
They dealt with it, and they gave it to her, and that was that.
That's good.
So I was obviously,
was she trying to play that? Oh, we're married. I have the right. Blah blah blah. Right. Obviously.
Yeah, she was doing all that, right? So, and then at this point, so I decided, okay, let's pack a bag. I'm going to Shelly's house.
Yep.
I can't stay here right now.
Yeah.
So we get to their place. I couldn't sleep until probably about 4, 5, 6 in the morning, something like that.
I believe
and
it.
then I was up right away, right? They have a futon that I always sleep at when I'm at their place. I sleep downstairs. I got up super early in the morning. I just went upstairs and I just laid down there and I couldn't handle what the fuck was going on, right? I was trying to figure out left from right. I had to call my boss. Like, now I got to deal with all this stuff, and my mind is just completely shattered.
Yeah.
And I'm having to all of a sudden call my boss and say, hey, I fell for a fucking scam.
Yeah.
Sorry. Like, can I have some time off?
I need some time.
I mean,
I need some time to deal with it, right? So thankfully he was good, and that's been the one really good thing is that he's been a good boss at helping me through that, especially because it was a new career and everything too.
A good boss would do that.
Yeah.
So and he knows it. I've thanked him for it several times, and then my work knows about the story a little bit too, and not all the details. They'll probably listen to this and go, "What the fuck." Now we know why he's so fucked up at work. So my first thought was protection order.
Yeah.
Like, I need to go and get a protection order. Like, I can't be around this woman. I can't have her anywhere near me.
Sorry, just is there a difference between protection and restraining order?
Same thing.
Yeah.
Okay. So I got denied on my protection order though.
Oh,
because I didn't have enough concrete evidence to get it right. So. Okay.
Of course.
Yeah. Never dealt with the legal system. No idea how the fuck to do with this.
Well, and if you
I'm
never
running
have
on 2 hours of sleep.
Super complicated, and you're exhausted.
I now know how to do it.
Yeah.
No, not to be a dick, but do you think that the fact that you're a man asking for a protection order from a woman had something to do with
No, the
that?
judge was not like that at all.
No?
No, he was not like that. I will say that the justice of the peace that I got was very good.
That's good.
It's not their job. They're the highest level of people who look at the facts and make a decision.
And you know what? That's a frustrating part of the whole story too, is because she ended up getting protection orders, and she got them
against you,
against me and my mom.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. Okay. She got a protection order against me and my mom
because of probably that contact.
Yeah. She tried to make that as my mom assaulted her, or whatever. That bullshit. That got turned out. So she ended up she was successful in getting a protection order against me. So I had to stay away from my apartment until I could fight that off, right?
Okay. Well, also she has to stay away from you then, which is kind of good.
Mm-hmm. So
except in his apartment.
She also doesn't know where
my deal with the apartment situation, but
she tried to take it over, right? So
of course.
And ever since that Wednesday evening, she for several days she would just nonstop bombard me, calls, emails, texts, everything. She sent me an email carbon copying an actual lawyer. Turns out it was actually one of her lawyers. Then saying that.
So she knew a lawyer.
She does know, yeah. Now she knows a couple.
There's one lie that wasn't completely allowed.
He's a fun. I actually did have a conversation with him earlier this year. That same guy that she. And he's a dickwad, but that's pretty much every lawyer. Sorry, but.
It's fine.
But so my protection order was unsuccessful. She got one though, so I had to stay out of my apartment for a while, right? So I couldn't get back in there. I stayed with Shelly Mike for the longest time, actually, for about 3 weeks. I stayed 2-3 weeks. I was at their place.
I was gonna say, luckily you have good family that you had a place to stay at.
Yeah, and then in August, that same summer, my mom went on a 4-week vacation, so they let me stay at their place while they were and in that time I was starting to fight the protection order, right? Because in that, so that happened on the Wednesday. By the Saturday, we had to call 911 in Winnipeg because of her, because she wouldn't stop. She tried to have me, what's it called? There's a term for it. She tried to have me put into the Selkirk Hospital.
Oh, jeez, really?
Yeah, she tried to. She said I was suicidal. I had suicidal thoughts, and so I actually
still with the fucking like it's crazy.
Yeah.
I actually
she knows what to say and do.
Yeah,
she does. She absolutely does. Because
she's not stupid.
No, she knows what to. She knows the
she's
system.
She's a fucking idiot.
She knows the system.
She's not stupid when it comes to what she's trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
And what's your end game in this? Can I ask that?
I don't know.
Yeah, right.
What's the end? What's the mission here? What are we trying to accomplish?
I still don't know to this day.
If you think about like some like serial killers from the and like these
maybe
people,
the thrill is just the.
I don't think it's the thrill. I think they truly believe that's the only person that you need to be with, and nothing else is valid, right? But that's the control freak.
She was isolating me.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because she was talking about even moving to Alberta and all this stuff.
It's almost like they're so obsessed with being the one person, right? That
So now what?
So that was a Saturday. Oh, a little sidebar to that story is like I ended up calling one of my old friends from when I was I've known this girl since I was 7-8 years old. We'd been family friends ever since. I just happened to reach out to her. I was like, hey, can you and your husband you and Jay, can you guys come over and come hang out with my sister and I'll tell you the story. And it was crazy that just I needed to talk to somebody, right? So out of the blue, I just called her. I was like, whatever, I'll call Jen, see if she wants to come over.
What did it feel like to tell the story?
Same looks like
that must have been the first time you've told the story. Well, other than to your sister,
but also keeping in mind that it was actually ongoing when I was talking to Jen and Jay. I was telling them the story. It got to a point where I've been diagnosed with PTSD and depression and anxiety now.
Okay.
The PTSD becomes by my phone because she constantly harassed me over it.
Yeah.
I ended up chucking her across the yard last summer because I was like, fuck, this is enough. It got to a point where Shelly actually ended up filtering my phone. I didn't even touch my phone for a few days because she filtered everything to make sure that what was being said. Because on top of all this, she was also making fake Facebook posts about me.
Oh, good.
And she is still posting on those anonymous dating sites that are we dating the same guy or whatever. She only recently posted me again, saying that I was.
Oh, that Facebook. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That fucking.
She's still trying to make it seem like I'm a douchebag, right?
Yeah, of course.
So she's still. I mean, I can't say that she's the one doing it. It's anonymous, but
somebody.
No one else has that picture of me except for her. So now I'm at this point. I'm at my sister's house, basically just staying there.
Yeah.
She took care of everything for me for the longest time. Thankful for that.
You needed it.
I needed it, absolutely. Yeah. So the one night that we were kind of like, it was kind of calming down for us one evening. It was like a Thursday evening or something like that. And we were okay. It's about 9 o'clock. Let's just wrap it up and let's just kind of get ready for bed, right? My brother-in-law, we play Overwatch online. Okay. So he's like, how about we play a couple of rounds and we'll call it a night? I'm like, yeah, sure, that sounds good. And just as we stood up to go play games, I got a phone call checking on my mental health well-being because she had called it in. They did a welfare check on me.
Yeah, okay.
So they, but thankfully, again, Shelly being a therapist, she was part of every phone conversation. She said to them, like, look, this is who I am. This is my license. This is my
credentials.
My credentials here. This is where I work. Here's my phone number if you need it. And so he said, okay, well, I trust that, you're with your sister, you're with family, you sound like you're in good health, good well-being. Because she had been telling people that I was suicidal, I was threatening to make. Yeah. So, like not 10 seconds later, after we hung up, the guy calls my sister right away. I was like, okay,
fine. Yep. That's their.
That's their job.
It's good that they do that. Actually, that's not a bad thing. Yeah.
So then, at this point, I'm dealing with the RCMP. They know me already. We've had a few conversations. They know what's going on, right?
So you want to know.
So the RCMP officer I was talking to, she says, unfortunately, she was successful in getting the protection order, and I have to serve you with it.
Okay.
Now, she said she's trying to get into your apartment. So she goes, I'll tell you this. I'll do. She goes, if you come down to the station, like the St. Pierre's Relief Station, she goes, I'll serve you with a protection order. And then she goes, leave your keys for me here, and I'll use them to bring her to because she was at that point going to press charges on her.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So she used my apartment keys to lure her there.
What charges can she press to you?
The RCMP charged her with harassment.
Oh, they charged her. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought they were charging you.
No.
Oh, okay.
They had to serve me with a protection order,
so she could get to her.
The RCMP officer wanted my keys so she could lure my ex to the station.
So they could charge her.
So that they could charge her, arrest her, and charge her.
Okay.
So I got the protection order.
That's smart. I like that.
That's what they did. So they got her. They charged her with it was criminal harassment. There was obstruction of justice because she would lie about all sorts of things. Yeah. There's about 4 or 5. I can't remember the exact charges that she was facing for me, but that's what they charged her with. Unfortunately, at that point, I couldn't get back into my apartment though. Right? So she kind of won on that one.
Yeah, shit.
So that was I had to go to once I got served that order, the protection order was on the following Monday. My brother-in-law and I went right from the RCP station to the courthouse, and we got to try to start fighting this protection order kind of thing, right? Trying to what's our next step, right?
Fucking apartment.
Yeah, I want my life back. And I got a text from or got a call from the RCMP officer saying, "Hey, by the way, you're going to be getting a phone call from so and so. Just so you know, I know who they are, and they're like, they want to talk to you."
Okay.
Winnipeg Police.
Yeah. Okay.
Nothing to do with the RCMP investigation. Now this is Winnipeg Police.
At least she's giving you a heads up.
Yeah.
Well, because now at this point, when your phone rings, you probably don't believe anything you're hearing. No,
exactly. That's the shitty part, because I'm sitting in the fucking courthouse waiting for my number to get called up, and I get a text saying, "Here's the information of the person that's going to be calling you," but it was a delay in the she took a picture of the Winnipeg police officer, the police officer took a picture of her card, sent it to me, and also sent me a long text with it. But the picture came in way after the actual text message.
Shit. Okay.
So I didn't. So I'm reading this message. I'm going, is that a legit? Like, I've seen so many of these kinds of messages.
Well, and you
like,
must be questioning
everything
ever that comes through your phone.
Absolutely everything. Like, I had no idea what was coming through, and then all of a sudden her card popped up. I'm like, okay, she's actual police. Okay,
all right,
she's real police. So she says to me, "Your name came across my desk, and we'd like to talk to you." I was like, "Oh shit, what?" Well, something completely different yet too now.
Oh,
so yeah. She said, "I know you're going through a lot right now," and she said, "But when you have time," she goes, "We just want to have a conversation with you about your ex. We know who she is, and we want to have a conversation with you."
At any point in all these conversations, and I just have to ask, did you call a lawyer?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I've several.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
They
man.
all.
Yeah. No, I know. Good man, though.
A lot of we definitely called lawyers.
Okay.
Yeah,
good.
for sure. That was part. We had like several phone calls lined up with several lawyers until we settled on the one that we actually ended up hiring.
That's good.
But
sorry, carry on.
No, that's fine. So I said this constable or this detective case was she ends up getting me to come down to the Winnipeg police station. So I go down there. She barrels me through metal detectors and all, and we ended up having a 2-hour session in a padded room. Where I got to do the whole, I swear to truth.
Yeah.
Do the whole. I gave my full-on witness to, because my family had already done that before to the RCMP already too. They had given official statements to the RCMP, which led to the arrest initially, and then so this detective then asked me to come in to share my side of the story because she's wanted for other things now too.
Okay.
There's
good.
We found out that in all my sister's digging, there was a horse expo, like Manitoba Equine Expo, that she had scammed about $100,000 out of.
Who? That's a big. Then no wonder she's paying for.
That's how she's got
drinks.
the money.
And then there was another one where this one really hit my sister hard. Is had been a fundraiser for a girl with it was on the autism spectrum for a service dog. Okay. They raised about $18,000 to get the service dog, and they never got the money. And she took it.
Oh.
Scammed.
Fucking mother.
But again,
we shouldn't be surprised at this point.
No, this is just who she is, right?
None of this is surprising.
But so it's
that
all
answers
just
the question how she has all the money.
Yeah, there you go.
Potentially.
And those are the only two things that
I know
you guys know of.
That I know of.
Yeah.
So there's potentially more out there. So I gave the information all to them. That ended up getting. I don't know the details on that one yet so much either. But that ended up getting her. They ran out the door when I was leaving. Man. Basically, no. So then after that, what happened is, we ended up hiring this lawyer that, of all things, had already been dealing with her.
Oh, really?
He already knew who, because when I emailed
he knew who
him,
she was.
Yeah. Okay. When I emailed this lawyer, he's like, I got to be honest. He goes, I thought it was a scam. I didn't believe it was a real email when I first got it, because he goes, that name invokes a lot of mistrust in him.
Interesting.
He already knew who she was. And I didn't know this, so hence why I hired him, because on the King's Court bench, that's where I found out that just before me there had been 2 other victims like this.
Oh, well,
but they never got as far as
They
never got as far as she did with me, right?
Yeah.
They got out before it got, but she still tried to go after them too, get protection orders and all that too. So one guy hired this lawyer, and I ended up hiring the same lawyer. By the time we were doing all the paperwork and for that by the time it got to court, she automatically dropped it all. She's like, I'm not. She was forced to drop it all because
that's the least of her worries.
Yeah. So
I would assume.
Now, keeping it so, I got a call from the constable, from the detective. It was I remember it was a Friday early morning-ish, lunch-ish. I remember being at work, and I got a phone call, and I was like, okay, I need to answer this one. So I go to the back room. I was at work, and she's like, oh, the detective case called me. She said, by the way, we picked her up last night, and we interrogated her until 6 in the morning. So it was like 8 p.m. Wednesday to like 6 a.m. Thursday morning. They had her in an interrogation room.
Yeah. Finally, the resources are going to the right place.
Yeah. And she said she confessed to all her lies about me.
Okay.
So she...
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
That's a huge win.
They finally... Oh, my coworker saw me that walking around back, and she's like, "Are you crying?" I'm like, "Yes, but these are happy tears." I said, "These are," because they had seen me break down several times at this point already. So when the detective case called me and said she's admitted to her lies and she was arrested, I was like, "Oh, thank God!" I just felt so.
So
relieved.
Does that negate the protection order?
No. Oh, her protection order on me? No.
Oh,
that's still
really.
Wow.
So
okay.
I have the transcript of what she said to the judge to get the protection order on me.
Well, you don't need to share.
No, but it's fucking hilarious.
I would assume so.
I'll let you read it one day.
Sure.
It's there's not an ounce of truth in any of that shit. She's claiming that we have a 2.5-year-old daughter, which I had. Yeah.
Where's she gonna find a baby?
She was living in Calgary. I didn't know.
She'll steal one from somebody.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, exactly. She'll get it from her second husband or whatever partner.
Apparently, I had a 2.5-year-old daughter in Calgary that I didn't know about.
What's your daughter's name?
Apparently, it was Rebecca something.
Oh, that's nice.
It's a very cute name.
And so you were here, and she was here, and the kid was there by herself.
Yeah. No, remember, I have a vasectomy.
Yeah.
Well, that's shocking. A miracle baby. That's
good.
Yeah.
Jesus. See? We go back to Jesus.
It
all goes back to Jesus.
Oh, every time. But so because she admitted all this stuff, now I'm assuming your case against her isn't yours personally, is the Crown.
That's the Crown. I have nothing to do with
the Crown.
It.
So you're just like, you've given your statement. You're a witness that can be accessed.
Yeah, if it goes to trial,
outside of that, the Crown, it's all the Crown's charges. It's not at you against her.
Nope.
Yeah. Okay.
No, it's the Crown pursuing everything on her.
Okay. So gotcha.
And that's where there's multiple charges other than from me.
Yeah.
So from me, because she's now facing. I was so I was very motivated initially to deal with all this stuff. And I slowly, over time, have unfortunately lost a little bit of that motivation because it was exhausting. It's so legal paperwork is fucking draining.
Now there can't be much you can do at this point.
No, so I mean we're divorced. We're legally married at this point, right? So now we're having to file for divorce. So she files for divorce, has me served. I have to fill out all this paperwork. I can't afford to hire a lawyer to deal with all this shit.
You've already spent some.
I've already hired a lawyer to, at this point, my family had to hire a lawyer to get rid of the protection order for me.
Yeah.
So I can't afford to hire a lawyer to deal with that side of things, right? So, because she's asking for, spousal support and claiming she's pregnant.
Just delay it until this shit's over.
Gets really good.
Sorry, maybe I shouldn't say that, actually. Am I allowed to say it?
So I did all the proper steps, right? I took all the proper steps. I responded to the paperwork that I need to do. I took the time to do it all properly. And thankfully, I went to that legal help center in Portage Place.
Oh, okay.
So they're helping me out there actually quite a bit.
Cool, okay.
Because that's free.
It's
a fantastic resource.
We'll share it over here right now. A link to that page or to their website.
Yeah, well, lawyers are fucking expensive.
They are. And sometimes you really just need legal help. And if there's these free clinics, right?
Well, we called a couple of places, and some lawyer, once I gave them a brief description of what was happening, they go, yeah, our retainer fee is $10,000 because they knew how crazy it was going to get. I'm like, fuck, I can't. What?
Oh, that's pretty cheap.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
So
I never had to call a lawyer in my life.
I have.
I know,
like a lot of them in the last little while.
Should we be?
No, we don't have. No.
Is this show about me or is about
you?
No, we're gonna discuss now your little legal matter.
We're gonna leave that alone. That one I can't say. I'm not saying nothing.
All good. But no, now.
Okay, so you had some advice.
I've gotten some counseling. I've gotten the help I need. I filed all the paperwork properly to respond to everything. So we end up getting a triage meeting. I got an email in December. One of the court clerks asking what time I'm available for a triage meeting with her.
Okay.
to
so a triage meeting to meet with
between
both parties
and a
yep,
lawyer,
yep.
or between a judge.
But she's not there, is she?
She's there.
Oh fuck.
Yeah. So, early January, we go to courts. This is the first time that she meets my sister, because Shelly came with me, and we were sitting in front of the court, or the courtroom that we were about to go into, and she walks by, and that's the first time she saw her. She's like, ugh. I just kept walking. She knew that it was my sister that had caused all the problems for her, and that had, of course, found out who she was.
She's
so,
the problem.
Yeah, she found out.
It's her fault.
Yeah, of course. Everyone. That was her famous saying. It's not my fault.
Yeah,
it was. She always said that. Used to say that to me. It's not my fault. But God, that first, I walk into that courtroom and she's sitting like 6 feet away from me on the other table, and the clerk leaves to go get the judge. And just her and I sitting there, the longest fucking 2 minutes of my life. That felt like 3 hours sitting there. My heart's racing 1,000 miles an hour. Like, what the fuck? Like, I didn't want to sit next. I didn't want to look at her. And but thankfully, the judge came in. She looked over it all, and because she was asking for all sorts of, like, she was asking for spousal support and claiming she was pregnant, and so she wanted child support and all this, and she's like, "Oh, you're pregnant?" And I said, "Your Honor, I have a vasectomy." Like, I'm sorry, but and again, this is all information that I've freely given to RCMP and the police as well, right? I literally give them my health documents saying, "Here, this is my vasectomy. This is who did it on this day." And like, "Oh, okay." The judge sat there. It wasn't a very long meeting. It's funny, it almost didn't happen though, because she has a protection order or a no contact order to me.
Oh, okay. So
she can't be anywhere near me. Or anyone in my family, or my son, his mom, and her husband.
Okay.
So she can't be anywhere. She can't be anywhere near us, and she can't contact us. And I didn't ask for that. I was given that by the police.
As you should have been.
That's
the right move on the police's part.
So the judge sat there, and she goes, "We're just going to call this what this is." She goes, "We're going to grant you your divorce based on mental cruelty."
Nice.
That's it.
So it's just like gone.
Just like that.
That's fucking great.
Now,
that's a win. See, now you're starting to win a little bit.
The one last little fuck you she did to me, though, right at that meeting, she's like, "Oh, I'll have my lawyer write up the documents," because the judge said to me, "Well, she was trying to like lay out to me, okay, now go talk to that legal help center again, ask them what the next step. They're going to have to guide you into the next steps because there's all these documents." And she goes, "I don't know exactly which form, but the legal place center will help you with that." I'm like, "Okay," but then she pipes up and she says, "Oh, I'll just get my lawyer to write it up for us." So that this, and then I'll cover all the costs for everything.
Fuck
and
you.
The judge said yes.
Fuck. God damn
so
it.
I'm still dealing with it.
Yeah.
So almost done now. I just got an email from them earlier this week.
Okay.
So they have my next email from them will be to come in and sign the document so it can be filed, and then she has to get served, and then
it's a judge's orders. Like there's no fucking with the
that
judge's
was
orders.
The key to me though. Like up until then, now part of like going through Christmas and all that was killer for me.
Yeah.
Because at this point, I hadn't seen my son in weeks.
Yeah.
Or a long time, and it was one of those things. And Christmas was really fucking hard. Like I barely made it through Christmas.
Yeah.
When she called, to have me kind of institutionalized, saying I was suicidal. That was more closer to Christmas. That was, I would say, that was where I was dipping into like the zero. It's like, I'm not happy. I need to get this out. Yeah. But I will honestly say, like, once I got that verdict from the judge, that fucking lifted like a world off my shoulders.
Well, it's the rest of the world having faith in you and finally believing.
Somebody finally said, "Okay, this is what happened." Yeah,
like believing in the truth.
You have supporters now on your side.
It's not you against her. It's like,
and I will say every aspect of the legal system that I've been through since, like, the RCMP officers have all been females, been fantastic,
which is awesome.
Like
I love to hear that.
Yeah, like actually the police, the Winnipeg police detective that I talked to, she reminded me a lot of my sister actually as well. But they joked about hiring my sister as a cop, and she goes, "I'm only good at hiring, looking out for one person, and that's my brother, and that's not." Perfect. I'm not good. Like I can't do this for everybody.
Well, they're people. Like they're all just people. You realize that when you
like when I met with her, she's like
afterwards. I'm so sad for you that you had to go through all of this like that. Sad for you is an understatement. It doesn't even capture what I'm trying to say. But like, like you meet some police and you meet some RCMP and you meet some lawyers and you meet some cops and you meet some judges and like, it's not all good shit.
Yeah,
it's not always shit.
No, what they all said was that she was manipulative and smart to the point where she knew the system,
of course,
well enough because
she got really
the protection order that she got from my mom against my mom, she came from Brandon. She went all the way to Brandon to get that.
Just to get right.
She plays that game, right?
Well, and that's her full-time job.
Yeah.
Like that's what she does. That she works.
Purposely drove all the way to Brandon just to do that.
Well, that must be exhausting to be that fucking psychopath.
I can't imagine.
Like that must be
But she
exhausting.
feeds off this. She feeds off this.
Where's it? We don't need to dig back into it. Actually,
she would like sleep on 2-3 hours a night. That was it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you got.
There's a little bit of coke involved probably in there somewhere. And again, that's what she would. If she wears drugs like that, I didn't ever see it. Right.
Yeah.
I saw the weed and I drinking, but that's about it. But
but you know what? I was gonna say.
Weed drinking's legal. That's fine.
Yeah.
You know what's the fucked up thing is that
all of it.
All of it.
Yeah.
The whole fucking thing.
I still haven't told you. There's still other details that the little stuff that isn't really
over.
relevant. Yeah.
But you can know a person for 6 weeks and get married to that person, but even with all this evidence, even the judge granting you the divorce, it still takes so fucking long.
Yeah.
Oh,
the legal system
and it's like
is
why
painful.
can't why can't
it's
the
slow.
like why can't the law or the judge say, okay, sign here, you're divorced now, done.
It doesn't work
right?
out.
No,
like, especially because
did.
you didn't have any. You didn't really have the house together, like the apartment. That was your apartment,
it was
right?
mine.
It wasn't in her name.
Never. She tried.
Yeah, and you guys had no kids and stuff. So in this case, it should have been done like so much faster.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But here you were
bureaucracy
months and months.
due process.
Well, and I
just
get it.
takes
Like
what it takes.
it's frustrating. My stepdad
But when I
was
get
very
married,
frustrated with the
sure.
two because the protection order that my mom got, even though it wasn't, she tried to take one out on my stepdad too, but that was unsuccessful. That one was denied.
Okay.
But because my stepdad's a hunter,
Yeah.
and protection, they lived together. The RCMP had to come and take all his guns away. So he was so mad about that.
No shit.
It's right around. He was.
You don't take the guns away from a hunter.
So that was a very long, frustrating process.
Well,
and,
all of it is like it.
Yeah.
And it's just process, and everyone like.
But the thing is,
really,
if you don't
until they
do
figure
that,
it out, nobody knows the truth, and like you just. Yeah,
the system is extremely slow. I get it, but it's there for a reason. Right?
It's so far worked. For
Everybody's
you.
like she has the right
And
to appeal
done
all
the
this
right
stuff,
thing.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
Like and so when it was all going down, there's a guy that worked in was sort of the caretaker of my apartment. He was sort of a family friend of ours. And he was trying to do all this, like, he's like, oh, I'll do all this. Like, no, I don't want anything illegal done to blockade my apartment.
Everybody's willing to do illegal shit.
I don't. I want to do this by the books.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be caught red-handed doing something wrong.
Well, and you don't want to do
right?
something that's going to fuck you over later. And
right.
Like,
yeah.
and
so,
just let the law do, like...
I let the law do what it's supposed to do. I think
in most cases, the law is slow, but it is just.
It is, yeah.
And I don't think 100% of the time, but I think most of the time it is.
Yeah, and I think that's where I feel, for me, that's what's has happened with this case for me.
Yeah, and I think most of the time, at the end of the day, scumbags will get their.
You guys are scumbags.
Well, I mean, the bad scumbags.
Don't sour that word.
The bad. Okay,
that word is. There's way too.
Are you talking about? I thought you were actually talking about me for us.
There's
for like,
way too much love in that word.
At the end of the day, like these people that do no good to others.
You know, narcissists, sociopaths, psychopaths.
Life will hand them the shit.
You'd like to.
I really hope so.
I believe
you'd like to hope so.
Yeah.
I do believe in that.
But I want to focus a little bit on. So you're getting now positive outcomes. Slowly.
Yeah.
You're
so that
there,
was a big weight off my shoulder.
Yeah, you're getting these wins.
Getting that. One thing I also did is just before Christmas, which helped me a little bit too, is I put myself on antidepressants.
Yeah.
I called my doctor and I said,
and sometimes you have to do that. Yeah.
You know what? I can't do this.
Yeah.
I need something.
It's too much.
And he understood. Like I went to the conversation. So now he's.
Were you smoking weed at the time, or
yes?
And that
unfortunately,
that just wasn't enough.
It was. It picked up, and it was making it worse. Right? Okay. Because it just picks up your anxiety more and more. Right.
I'd like to have a conversation with you about that off the mics.
Yes. Sure. Yeah. But yeah, that was another. She just kept me drunk and high all the time, right?
Yeah.
So that was
like that.
I mean, who doesn't?
You do.
You can do anything you want to me.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, what's going on after the show today?
Sorry,
am I staying after the show a little bit longer? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah.
I've had a few. What time do you got to work, Tommy?
Yeah, don't worry about that.
No, I think That's good for you. I mean, if that's something you need, and like coming out of that's trauma, like you said, PTSD. Like
because I still on the way here, her car. She drives the red car, the red Fusion that she drives. Any Fusion of that car
every time,
I fucking my heart,
dude.
And I watch that car.
Yeah,
I look for it and I circle.
I still go through, and my like that experience was not what yours was, but like when I see the car of the person I fucking hate, like
I'm like that with York. If I see him last, I'm like, oh, is that Tim?
I get a little bit
ram him off the road.
I get a little bit upset, like just for a second. It might be a flash, but like until those cars disappear, I'll just always think that.
That's every unknown phone number, any even at work. Is the block number an anonymous? The phone number calls at work. I'm like, a little bit answer that one.
Yeah.
I know,
and it's just probably Chinese scam or whatever. But
anytime with anonymous, I know that number. It's one of my locksmiths that calls me all the time. He doesn't want his number given out, so I know who it is. But it's just like I see it. I'm like, whoa, just flashbacks to that.
Well,
that's trauma. That's just
But what I wanted to get to, so you have these wins, and you kind of said that you've cut your son out a little bit out of your life.
Not on purpose.
You mentioned that for like the 4 weeks she kind of made you cut your.
We did have a conversation. I did meet with him and kind of tried to explain this, but he's 13. He's not gonna understand it yet, right?
And so like you kind of mentioned, and if you don't want to air this, that's fine. But like you kind of mentioned, so there's a little. He doesn't want to talk to you right now, and is that because of that period?
Yeah,
that you cut him out, and
because he feels I abandoned him.
Okay,
right. He feels and it's happened to him unfortunately before, and that's like his grandpa abandoned him once, but he was really close with grandpa on his mom's side, and he all of a sudden found a girlfriend after he went through a divorce, so he left, and my son was hurt by that. He's had 2 stepsisters that are very much in and out of his life all the time.
Okay.
And his mom's had a couple failed relationships too. So it's to him it's about consistency.
There's some apprehension
and it's again he's autistic.
Yeah.
So and that's part of the thing, like because there's a potential that I'm also on the spectrum.
Okay.
And which it's potentially genetic, and that's where he has it as well.
Yeah.
But so that all that stuff affects me then too, because I handle things differently. When things like that happen, like when all this overwhelming shit happens to me, because she knew, she knew that I was that there's certain things would trigger me. So like driving out to her family's cabin up in Grand Beach, crank the AC and crank the music. She knew that overwhelmed my senses like crazy.
Okay.
She shocked me on that stuff, right? She purposely did it to break me down so that she could build me up.
Like
she knew what she was doing.
Shit. Like I would never.
Stupid.
Yeah, I would never
think
think
evil.
of this shit.
No.
Right?
She's unbelievably evil, but she's not stupid.
Yeah.
But wrapping my head around
can you imagine if she just did good things with that level of focus?
How much good she could do
and intelligence?
My sister.
Yeah,
that's what she does.
Yeah.
She's a therapist. She puts it to good work.
Yeah,
that's what she's. Now, I'm not saying she manipulates people, but she's very good at helping people understand what they're going through and helping them figure out how to move forward. And like,
if you can manipulate someone to that level of a negative extent, you can also help people.
That's what therapy
that much
is.
more positive.
That's what therapy is, because they manipulate your shitty thoughts.
Also, she can die and burn in hell for all I give a fuck. So
she can. No, but that's the thankful thing that I have is that Shelley is a therapist, and I have that to lean on. Although I don't want to lean on that too heavily.
Get your own therapist.
I know you guys have a good sponsor apparently too.
Just for the record, you should get your own.
So here's the thing,
because your sister can't be your therapist.
Oh no, and I had to pull back on that, right? Because I saw myself going, no, I can't give. I can't use her as a therapist. I need a third party.
So I'll give you some info after the show on BetterHelp. Like it's
for sure. Yeah, because it's the one thing that I haven't done yet. Unfortunately, I don't know why. I can't get my
forever,
son.
So it's okay.
Whenever you're ready, you'll have that phone call.
Like I have gone to therapy before. It's not a new concept for me. It's just this time I don't know. I just couldn't get myself to. I've been in survival mode since that happened. Basically, I have only been able, and that's also one of the other reasons that's so difficult for me and my son's situation right now is because I can just. Now it's getting a little bit more brighter and a little bit more positive, but there was a long time where I could just barely get up to go to work, and as soon as I got home, I had no desire to go out anywhere. I would plan everything I wanted, any errand I need to run, any grocery shopping. I would plan that on my way home, so that I never had to leave my house
once I got back in
there, right? Because the day that I got my apartment back, I moved all that was the other thing. My sister, my mom, and my stepdad actually took all my valuable things out of my apartment and brought it to their place.
Yeah.
In case she was gonna get in there and try to steal my shit and squat. Right.
For sure.
That's awesome.
So all my gaming systems, everything was like they brought it all out, my TVs and everything, all the expensive stuff, like minus the couches, but so as soon as I got my apartment back, I moved it all back that day.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to be back in there. So I think part of it was like I missed my home and I couldn't have my home for the longest time. So I wanted to be back home. So I was always wanting to, as soon as I had the opportunity to go home.
Yeah.
And stay home.
Yeah.
Like,
that was your safe place.
That was my safe place.
Yeah.
And it's still to a degree is very much my safe place still. Now, it takes, when I go out, like if I go out for a day, I'm exhausted for the next 2-3 days.
Yeah.
So
yeah, for sure.
It's just mentally, it's better. It's getting better now.
You're healing, and you went through a terrible trauma. It takes healing, and that's going to show itself in a bunch of ways.
And that's part of what my trip down, visiting back home to Paraguay to my sister down there. Is going back this Christmas to kind of heal a little bit, see my old home again, and see my sisters, see my nephews.
And have a better Christmas, for fuck's sake.
This one was hard. I didn't see my son.
Yeah, we're around. We're here.
And that's, again, your podcast is what actually got me. Like, I listened to some of your shows too, and I was like, that's what kind of inspired me. Like, you guys being out there, like, right now, I'm not realizing that this is going to be seen and heard by who knows how many people. So, but once that hits me, I'm like, oh fuck. But I was nervous to come onto the show too, but nervous in a good way because I haven't really told a whole lot of people.
And that's fair. Yeah.
What's
there's
happening?
Nothing wrong with that.
There's a lot of shame and guilt for me, right? Because there's so much that I should have seen, that I should have caught ahead of time. But
but every story that comes through this door, including our own, is full of should-haves. Wish I would have. Hindsight 2020.
Absolutely.
Like every single one of them is like, I didn't see it happening. Like from your episode to my episode, like the first 2 episodes, like it's full of a whole bunch of that, and we're all like that.
And that's
we're
why
human beings, and we make mistakes. We don't, we don't see it through what they say, the third eye, right? And
what I love is we're all still here to talk about.
Well, and exactly, and I think that's how we get better, is like we fuck up to learn from our mistakes, right? And
this one to me was a big fuck up. I slipped up big time on this one. I fell flat on my face, and I'm still trying to,
still here.
The good thing is for me, I've had a good support system. Like, my family's been fantastic.
Sounds like you had like amazing support.
My sister has been. Her and Mike will never know how much I appreciate them and how much I just love the shit out of them. And
did you tell them
every time? Every fucking time. I tell them all the time.
I'm sure you did.
I told my sister that just before she was texting me, like, cause she knows part of Shelly's concern for me is like, these are still very raw emotions for me. Yeah. So she goes, just make sure you have something set up afterwards, after the show, just to make sure you're okay. And and so they are looking out for me and making sure. That's what looking out. Yeah. good old bamboo. No, they've, like I said, good support system. My work has been great that way too. My boss knows a bit about what's going on.
Yeah, that's really good.
Because she did try to call my work and try to. Like she
probably tried everything to fuck you up.
She tried to call our head office and say, "Well, you have an employee that has a protection order for he's
anything and everything."
Blah blah blah, bullshit, right? So, and he knew it. He saw right through it, and he goes, as soon as she called, he goes, "I've already reported." He had the detective's phone number, and so like I gave that information to him too, and just so he could verify all the information. Because I said to her, like, to the detective, I'm like, how do I explain this to my boss? And she goes, let me talk to him. I think she did. But he reported that phone call to the police as well. And
perfect.
They've all been extremely helpful. I have a victims service worker that calls me to give me updates. And
cool. Well, that's what you are. That's exactly what it is. You're a victim of somebody, and like, that's okay.
Yeah. I mean, because it's now in the Crown's hand. I'm out of it. Unless it goes to a trial, which I doubt it will. It's 26 charges altogether.
Cool.
5 from me, and then the rest are from God knows what. Calgary. I know there's, and I won't go into the story, but there's Calgary police are also involved. There was a situation in Calgary. There was 2 guys before me that she did this too.
And just for the record, this is all public knowledge.
This is all public knowledge. This is all like, if you go on the King's bench, you can see her name. She did this to 2 other guys after me.
Oh really?
So like this last year.
Yeah.
Right.
So that same summer, so one of my friends that lives in St. Anne, her ex-husband, they have 2 kids together, and they were at one of their kids' games last summer, and she's close with her ex, so she looked over and just happened to see that he was messaging with a new girlfriend, and she happened to see the name pop up, and it was her name. So my friend texted me right away. She goes, wasn't this her name? I was like, yeah. What does she look like? So I sent her a picture, and she goes, yeah, my ex was just talking to her. She was trying the same thing.
Well, and he said the same, and she just will endlessly.
And he said the same thing. She had said all the right things. Yeah. She knew exactly what to say because he had just gotten out of a relationship as well, like 3 months before that. So he was, delicate. Yeah. So she knew how to play into that.
Yeah, she was very vulnerable, and
she's preying on people.
She's a man-eater.
She will do the same forever.
Yeah. Christ. And they all saw that she knows how to manipulate the system. She knows how to say what she wants to get what she wants.
Yeah.
From the system that's designed to protect people, not to harm them. But she's using it to harm people. The best way that the detective put it to me was that she's basically using what's intended to be as a shield as a sword.
Yeah.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
And people can, like, if you play it right, and if you're that evil, you can figure that out.
Yeah, she definitely tried.
Only for so long.
I'm curious to find out if I ever would find out, but what she tells other people about me after the fact, right? So,
it's probably
there's been
awful.
2 other people have tried to take protection orders against her after me now too.
Jesus.
So it's nonstop with her, right? It doesn't stand. Now she has my last name too. That's the shitty part. It's another,
shit.
And I think that was part of it. Yeah, I think that was part of it because. So the Wednesday that I got pulled out, I was supposed to go and sign documents that Friday to take over a whole bunch of accounts from her. I think she was trying to dump off some of her shit on me.
Yeah, okay.
That's my theory. I don't know if there's any truth to that. But
like you go to this like you take someone else's last name and then you go on nothing happened. I'm gonna go tackle a couple other dudes and
that's what she did.
I'm just like,
yeah,
wow.
No. You know what the messed up part was? There was one day when it was just me and her daughter at her parents' cabin, and I was getting along really well with her. I got along well with her daughter, right? So we were playing in the living room.
Kind man.
And her
he's
daughter,
like a giant teddy bear, right? Yeah, I just want to hug him and squeeze him.
He's a soft, kind man.
Her daughter was in need of somebody caring. You could tell she didn't give
Well, clearly the mother doesn't give a shit.
Yeah. So she latched onto me.
She's busy, yeah.
What she would do though, when she would see that I was getting close to her daughter, she would pull me away from her. She would say, "Come to the bedroom before we go out."
Yeah, of course.
I was like, "Okay," but leaving her daughter, and then her daughter would just be on her own again. I was like, "It's just it was
the saddest part when a kid
right?
is used to that."
Yeah. And all of it through, like, I know there's something wrong with her. Something happened to her, but unfortunately, she's taking it out on everybody else.
Also,
instead of dealing with it,
at a point, you can't feel bad for those people.
No.
Yes.
There's something. She's clearly mentally ill. She's sick, but also fuck yourself.
I think she's an addict for this.
No, but go fuck yourself. We don't need any of you.
And kind of, I just want to go back to like what Dak said. Is like, fuck you to that addict, to that monster, right? It's just like you're just like a horrible, horrible person.
Yeah, no, whether it's popular opinion or not, she can fucking die and burn for all I give a fuck. Because like the world doesn't fucking need people like that.
And there he is, all of you. But
no, I'm sorry, but like, yes, she's sick. Yes, she's mentally ill. No, I have no interest in helping her, nor should anybody else. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah. What she did to me and my family
sounds bad,
was just,
but like, you're not worth it.
No.
You're just not worth it. If you're capable of that, you're not worth it.
Yeah.
And she did a number on my family and us. Like,
and you and fucking everyone she interacts with. Everybody.
Yeah. She's basically just
daughter.
She's a tornado that rips through your heart and then just leaves it amok and it runs away. Yeah. She doesn't deal with any of the problems. So,
all right,
she's good at running away from her problems. So, figured I'd face them so I can actually move forward from them.
For sure.
Well, Holy shit.
What an episode.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, if there's you guys have any more questions, I'm willing to come back on too if there's more follow-ups.
When this is like wrapped up, I really want to talk more.
We're going to have a chart.
Yes.
We're going to have a chart so we can kind of follow through everything. Yeah.
So one thing, you talked about the timeline earlier.
Yeah.
So with that, when it all happened, my poor brother-in-law, I'm really sorry, Mike, he went through all my text messages. He downloaded all my text messages onto his laptop.
That's a lot of work.
And all from her and everything. He read every text message. Yeah. All the dirty ones and everything. Ooh. Thankfully, he was smart enough not to download he just downloaded the text version, not the picture. So he needed to see the pictures.
Good man. Smart man.
But yeah, we do have it. And so that was part of what they were doing that first week was trying to lay out the timeline of what happened and how it happened. And it's because we needed that we were trying to do that to get the protection order, but we just didn't have it all put together in time. Yeah. So thankfully it all worked out now, but it's been a fucking nightmare of a road for us.
I can't even. Your family must be unbelievable people.
I feel bad for what
they must love you. Don't stop feeling bad. Just love them back so hard.
No, I know. That's the only thing I can do.
That's the only way to thank them is just love them.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you guys
for being a part of this and wow.
Thanks for having me. I wanted to share the story.
I really appreciate you reaching out and coming here and sharing everything. Yeah. It's
an ongoing situation for me still. So it's something I'm actively working through. So there's still ups and downs and.
It sucks when not just men, just generally when people are taken advantage of.
Yeah.
Right? Like there's so many there's so many shitheads out there. I know.
That's better.
There's so many shitheads out there that take care of taking advantage of old people, right?
Yeah.
Scamming on the phone.
Yep.
And doing this shit. And it's just like I can't believe that we still have human beings that feed off of someone else's
vulnerabilities.
Yeah, exactly. Like
it's evil people.
Disgusting.
Yeah. Like there is a lot of evil people in this world, but also there's a ton of good ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I thankfully had a lot of good ones on my side in this situation too. So that helped me through because if it hadn't been for Shelly, Mike, and Connie, and my mom and Richard there, I don't know. That could have been a very different outcome for me.
Well, and if you ever feeling down, you can always reach out to us.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
And the scumbags, they're assholes, but they're also very loving people.
I'll say something mean to you if you ever want.
And
see, that's the reason I didn't tell the story in the Discord chat that we have because this was too much to lay out in a text.
For sure, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
But you can always reach out, and if you just need a listening ear, we're here.
I appreciate it.
And again, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, man, thank you so much. It's just such a it's always so sad to see such shitty things happen to good people.
Yeah.
Also, you made it through, and it makes me so proud of you as a man. It makes me proud of you as someone I know, and we love the best part of, and I've said it a few times, but the best part of doing this show is everyone is sitting across from us telling their story.
Yeah.
So they're still here.
Yeah.
They got through. They fucking did it.
They're still
figured
here.
it out.
We had we had one story where
we've had a couple that are suicide stories and life takings, and that's different. But everyone who sat here and told us their struggle is here to sit and tell us.
Yeah.
And it makes me so fucking honored to be sitting across from those people because the strength it takes to do that, and then never mind to come here and share that with all of us. I'm so grateful that you are willing to be a part of that.
So because of that, we have a mug for you.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks, guys.
So it's one of our mugs, and please enjoy it.
Yes.
It fits coffee, tea, or whiskey, rum.
I saw it on your podcast the other day. I was like, I kind of want one of those.
Well, you got one now.
You got one. Yeah,
I appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
So thank you again for joining us here. For all the listeners, thank you very much for sticking around for these 2 episodes. It's a lot of information, but it's very much needed to be shared. And please reach out to us at our email. It's quietRiotShow@gmail.com, and also reach out to us at social medias. All our personal tags are in the podscript, and if you want to just follow us, our shows, Instagram and Facebook, it's Quiet Riot Show. And thanks for tuning in.
That's it.
That's it,
guys.
Thanks, cheers.
Thank you. Loads,
yeah.
Loads.
All Quiet Riot Show episodes have been recorded and produced by SuverMedia. If you think you have an idea for a podcast but don't have the space or proper equipment, please visit SuverMedia.com for more information. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you did, please hit the follow button and leave us a review if the platform you are listening on allows you to do so. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Quiet Riot Show, and follow us on the Instagram page @QuietRiotShow. Please share this episode with others that may be interested in these topics. If you know anyone that would enjoy these topics, feel free to share our podcast with them. Also, let us know what topics you'd like to see covered in future episodes. Get in touch with us in the comments on our channel and social media, or send us an email to quietriotshow@gmail.com.